We're like 10
Check.
seconds into the show.
Gosh.
Professional.
Gosh.
Uh,
Yes, silence. Thanks, Phil. Gosh. He just decided to be like, oh, then let's switch the mic up for absolutely no reason at all. God damn. Sometimes this software, I swear, it's just programmed to fuck with you, you know? I haven't touched that microphone setting. I never touch it. And then today I just log on and it's like, oh yeah, well, your microphone changed this week. I did unplug my microphone. Okay, no, that was before last week. That was before last Sunday's show. So no, that's not to blame either. Fuck no. Anyway, everybody. Anyway, that's a different intro for you. That's why you always got to be here early. You know what I'm saying? You never know how it's gonna start. But yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Macky from the UK, and joining us this week we have Margaret.
Hello, everyone. It's Margaret, host of Bite Me the Show About Edibles, coming at you from Central Ontario. And we're in the midst of a snowstorm, and it's delightful. I'm hibernating. And yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
Professional.
Yeah, professional. Cheery as well.
Someone's got
Cheery.
to set the example. So
That's right. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. I feel like I need to do mine again now. You know. What are you saying, John? You good?
Yeah, man. It's a nice, cool day here. No storms. I'm glad for that. A little sunny. It's been windy the last couple days, though, so it's been kind of crazy.
Nice.
Other than that, everything's good.
Not too windy, though.
Oh, it was blowing pretty dang good the last 2 days.
Damn. Man, I haven't even been monitoring the weather where we are. I don't even know what's going on. It's just been shit.
It's like spring for you guys over there.
Oh, God. It's strangely warmer than it should be, I think. Usually it's colder at this time of year here in the UK, but it's warm. I don't know. Well, not warm, I wouldn't say that. Maybe I'm just used to it being fucking cold. But anyway, we got Billy. What are you saying, Billy?
Yo, man. Hi from Cornwall. It's same as Macky is saying. The weather's a bit strange. It's not exactly warm, but it's not exactly cold. It's weird. Weirdly weird. But it gets cold, and then all of a sudden, like, it doesn't feel cold. Even though it is cold, it's like 4 degrees, but it doesn't feel cold. It's odd. It's like still. But we're in the UK, we haven't been arrested yet, so we're doing well.
That's right. Still going strong. But you know, it's like, what's more dangerous nowadays? Are you more likely to be arrested for cannabis use or something you've said online? Yeah.
The latter.
Yeah, probably. It feels that way. It's going crazy over here. But let's not get into that just yet. We can discuss that during the news, can't we? But yeah, what are we smoking on this week? Billy, you said you made some bubble hash, man. You want to tell people about that?
Yeah, I made some bubble hash for the first time, and it was groovy. It was actually quite easy, to be honest. So I'm like, yeah, I like that. So because it's Valentine's Day, innit? So my love of hash, I had to make some hash. So I put on my gimp suit and made some hash.
Right, yeah, so it's snooker ball in the gob and all that. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, yeah. Anyway, what I was going to ask about that, when you've done this bubble hash, do you do that Frenchy cannoli thing where it puts it in the bag and uses a hot water bottle to roll over it and stick it together? Or do you just squish it?
No, mate. I put it in my pollen press and use that instead of a hot water bottle.
Right, cool.
So simpler. Don't take so much time and pressure. Yeah. No, I will melt it. I will give it some heat, but I'm going to let it dry out first and then cold press it and then try heat pressing.
Delicious. Nice.
This from my own research as such.
Yeah. Anyway, Margaret as well. Margaret's got some infused whey. Was that right, Margaret? Is that what you said?
No. I mean, how did you? No.
Why, man?
Yeah, it was something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, something like that, but you're not quite.
Yeah, what you got today, Margaret? You got something nice?
I actually have, I have the Jack Herer 1-to-1 again. Because I also have some Argyle Stash, but I probably won't smoke that because I find that it's a little more couch-locky for me, and I might not be able to read my article later. And I have a cannabis beverage as well. That I'm
right. Ooh, nice. Yes. What you got, John? You got something nice?
Just the Gorilla Glue, man. I just finished it, dried it, cured it. So we're going to try that out today and see how it goes. I really like it. It's so minty, man.
Nice.
I have something nice too. I have some cheese from like
Ooh,
High Craft
cheese.
Organics. Yeah,
Oh,
from
sweet.
Cheesy
Some old
Cheese
school.
Face.
Is it one? Is it
Yeah.
from the old cut? Is that what he's got?
Yeah, it's from the old cut. So
Wow.
like 90s,
Nice.
90s cheese.
Damn.
I'm
Still gotta
smoking
grow some of
90s
that.
cheese. Lovely.
That's old school, man.
Yeah, man. I've got some hash as well. So like old school, old
Damn.
school cheese with some hash in it. Yeah, mate. I'm living it large
I'm
tonight.
feeling like it's
Yeah.
just gonna be me getting to the end
Rich.
here. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, man. I've just got some stuff in the mighty, just the same old shit kind of shit that I do. You know, but it's so delicious. You know, just the older the weed gets, the better it tastes, man. It's so good. Delicious. But anyway, some of these news articles. Let's take a look at some of these news articles going to be covering today. We've got 5. I mean, we might have 6. It depends how time is, but we've definitely got 5 here. We've got a few other articles we might cover later on too. But we got some guy from the US. He went to Russia and he took with him some cannabis edibles. Not a wise decision. So he's got himself into some trouble. We'll have a look at that in a bit. Switzerland. Switzerland is a European country, isn't it? Is it part of the EU? I'm not sure. But yeah,
I
Switzerland.
think so.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, surely it is. Yeah, so Switzerland is considering legalizing recreational cannabis, which would be good to see another European country doing that. That would be sweet. Let's find out what's going on there. We have frequent cannabis use and its effects on dental health from the British Dental Journal. And, you know, us British folk, we have this stereotype of not having great teeth. So this British Dental Journal, I think we should take that with a pinch of salt. Spain's feeble medical cannabis proposals disappointing for patients. And yeah, that's going to be an interesting one because I thought Spain's already got like quite a substantial legalized market going on now. So I wonder what's going on there. Yeah, we'll find out the finer information when we get to that one. Then we have RFK Jr. I'm sure most of you know who he is by now. Says marijuana can have catastrophic impacts on consumers, but state level legalization can spur research on its harms and benefits. So yeah, a bit on both sides there about how dangerous cannabis can be, allegedly, and how legalizing it can open up studies, which needs to be done. So yeah. That's going to be an interesting article as well. So, and of course, the forum news. And then for the grow guides, we're going to be talking about growing in Coco Coir, which is just cocoa, but they call it Coco Coir sometimes. I don't know why. But yeah, we're going to be talking about cocoa and other soilless mediums as well. So it's like in between the whole organics, the whole soil thing and hydroponic thing, which we've done over the last couple of episodes. So yeah, this would be a good one to finish off the whole medium section of things. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's about everything, really. That's the intro and all that. Bite Me Podcast in the chat there. Shout out to Bite Me Podcast. Don't you know them, Margaret?
No, Bite Me Podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Friend of
A little
yours,
bit.
I
I hear
think.
they're good people.
Have you been on their show before?
Yeah, I highly recommend everybody follow Bite Me Podcast forever and all over.
Definitely. Click on that in the chat there, everybody. If you're here with us live, go over and make sure you hit subscribe. That would be very nice if you could do that. Please, we would appreciate that. That'd be cool. So yeah, with that, I mean, we can't be ready to move on already, right? I think we are, though. We've got no random shit we want to talk about this week. Oh, my God. Well, let's see what kind of flags we can get before we move on. Jesus. But this
Just
week,
firing it
and
off
it's
right there.
taken a week, I've watched the 1994 version of The Stand by Stephen King. Anybody ever?
Ooh.
We discussed that
That's a
before.
great
right?
film. The 6-hour one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
miniseries or whatever it was. Yeah.
But it's a 6-hour movie. It's not even like a movie.
No, it's the movie. Yeah, it's not. The
it's
miniseries was made like 2020 or something.
2021
or something. Yeah. So
Yeah, 'cause
no,
I
yeah,
read
the
the
like
book.
fourth
One was
version is
broken up.
brilliant.
I thought the
Yeah, I
old
read
one
the
was
book as
broken
well.
up kind of too, though.
No, it
Is
doesn't
it a
seem
straight
as if...
6-hour movie?
It's a straight 6-hour movie. Yeah.
I think so.
Oh,
It was on 2 double-sided tape, wasn't it, or something?
I
like
don't
that?
know. You can
God,
watch
I
it for
can't
free on
remember.
YouTube. Definitely check it out.
Mhm.
It was decent.
Yeah, it's
Acting
wicked, actually.
bad and all that, but it's okay. I like the story,
The
especially
acting was
the
bad?
virus bit. Yeah, the acting was bad. Damn. Yeah, 6 hours. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying, Adam? I've watched it over a week. It's like I'll watch it for about an hour.
1994 acting that sucks. What is it?
I don't know.
Like
Just
why?
the
'Cause that seems
know.
like a common It seems common. You watch these old movies and you're like, the acting's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more like the videoing and
Like
the stuff
production
that they put
quality.
into the movies. Yeah, I think the production is just different. So it was so different back then compared
No,
to
but the
now. Like,
acting like is also crappy.
Yeah, some of it's really wooden.
some of it, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
I don't
it was very strange. But it was good. I like the story, especially the part where everybody dies from the virus. I kind of like that. That's good.
Mhm.
That's
One of
nice
those
and
movies. How
cheery.
did it go?
You know what I
That's how
mean?
you
Everybody
really
dies.
feel.
You know, yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like. I like them kind of apocalyptic movies, you know, where they go through different
Mhm.
scenarios like that. Yeah, so it was good, man. I enjoyed it. So you check it out, everybody. You can watch it for free on YouTube. Just go over there and yeah, watch it. It's decent. I don't know. I just like the
Mhm.
story more than anything. Because I read the book when I was young. When I was younger, I don't know what the right term would be. I don't know. In my late
Yeah, I think I
teens,
watched the movie
read
and
that.
then read the book.
Oh yeah, wrong way to do it. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
read the book first, because
I
then you get
didn't
your
read
own
for
idea of
shit
what the
back in the
characters
day.
look like. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm. So yeah,
Mm.
check that out. Anything else? Anything else to add before a random tangent there? You know, we like to throw a random tangent in, get it done early.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think we are ready for the news. Are we ready to go?
Get after it.
Let's
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
it.
man.
The music didn't play for me this time. Wow. Usually I hear it and I know how long we should be and shit, but yeah, it didn't. So yeah, here we go for the cannabis news and events this week, everybody. We have at least 5 articles. We'll see how quickly we get through these, and if we do get through them all quick enough, then we have more after that as well. Lots been going on in the cannabis news this week. So let's begin with, I don't know, where should we start? Should we start with, let's talk about Switzerland first. Let's do Switzerland. So Switzerland is allegedly considering legalizing recreational cannabis. I don't know what their medical program is like or anything like that. So this will be interesting to see what Switzerland have got to say. Switzerland considers legalizing cannabis. Recreational cannabis, it says. It's all going wrong today. There we go. We got it. Right. Switzerland considers legalizing recreational cannabis. Cannabis can currently only be purchased legally in the wealthy Alpine nation for medical use, or for non-medical use when it contains below 1% of tetrahydrocannabinol. So, yes, that CBD heavy weed. Pretty much the same as what's going on in the UK, really, isn't it? Show full article. Look at this. Jesus, a bit unprepared for this one. Why don't you show the full article? Then I'm clicking it. It's not going to show me the full article. I'm clicking the wrong
Is
button.
it not?
Gotta pay.
I don't
Gotta
know.
pay.
I don't know. It's not happening. Can you see the whole article,
Yeah.
Hold
Margaret?
on, I'm gonna look there.
I can see it.
Oh, do you want to read it then, Margaret? Do you want to carry on from here?
Yeah, I can do
Okay.
that.
Professional.
Well, you know,
Like
I
any
know, you know.
professional.
Because you're in the UK,
I'm
man.
always prepared.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can't read this. It's got hurty words in. Gosh.
Mhm.
Maybe. I mean, this is some worldwide website. But anyway, Switzerland is considering legalizing recreational cannabis, if you didn't already gather that from the rough start of this article. But
Smooth.
let's see here. The draft proposal adopted by the lower house of Parliament's Health Commission, with 14 votes in favor, 9 against, and 2 abstentions, called for adults to be accorded a strictly regulated access to cannabis. Cannabis can currently only be purchased legally in the wealthy Alpine nation for medical use, or for non-medical use when it contains below 1% THC. Trials have been conducted in several regions and cities in recent years, testing the regulated sale of cannabis for non-medical purposes. But the vast majority of consumers obtain their supplies of the drug through illegal channels, the Commission pointed out, highlighting a 2022 Swiss survey that found that 4% of people between the ages of 15 to 64 had illegally consumed cannabis in a previous month. It stressed that cannabis is a societal reality. The majority of the commission believes the current situation is unsatisfactory and that the prohibitive approach is a mistake, it added. It called for legalizing the sale and use of cannabis for non-medical use, emphasizing that though this needed to be as strictly regulated as a narcotic substance, with the recognition that consumption can be harmful to health. The proposal marks the first step in what would be a lengthy process before an actual law is drafted and approved by both houses of parliament, and likely also put to a popular vote under Switzerland's direct democratic system. The law must regulate the cultivation, manufacture, and trade of cannabis without encouraging its consumption, the commission said. The Swiss Hemp Interest Group hailed it as a historic moment for Swiss cannabis policy, but the hard right Swiss People's Party, Switzerland's largest party, condemned the proposal, with parliamentarian Celine Amaudrutz vowing to keep fighting to the end because this proposal amounts to banalizing the dangers of the drug. In detail, Friday's proposal said that anyone over the age of 18 living in Switzerland should be allowed to grow, purchase, possess, and consume cannabis, and that existing protections against the harms of passive smoking should apply. Any sale to minors should be illegal. The law should allow for individuals to grow up to 3 cannabis plants for their own consumption. Commercial production would be legal but strictly regulated, while high qualitative standards would apply, the commission said, adding that all packaging should be neutral without brand names and should carry warning labels. The sale of cannabis should meanwhile be subjected to a state monopoly, with the products only available for purchase at a limited number of concession holding establishments. Importantly, the commission insisted that there would be no profit motive for the sale, with all proceeds going to prevention, harm reduction, and addiction assistance. And it said the penalties for selling or purchasing cannabis illegally should be harsher than they are today, while there should be zero tolerance for driving under the influence. Thoughts?
So
So
many
let's let
things
them
to
do
say.
it,
Yeah.
but like really regulate it. Like just what?
Yeah, this is what usually happens though. It gets legalized, but then you just throw in all these different regulations. You don't even know where you stand. I think the plant numbers of you're allowed to go 3 is ridiculous, but also I don't think anybody's going to be chasing anybody down for that. Like, oh, let me come and check
Right.
and make sure you've only got 3
Right.
plants. Don't think that's going to happen. And then the whole driving under the influence thing. That's a dangerous place to step as well, because people, just because they have consumed cannabis doesn't mean that they're incapacitated, or what's the
Right.
correct
Impaired.
word?
Yeah.
Impaired, yeah. You know,
Impaired.
Have they done more work on that in Canada, Margaret?
Around what exactly?
Like the testing for like when you're
road
driving.
flag testing?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I haven't heard about anything lately, and I haven't been pulled over, so I haven't been doing any personal experiments either.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
hear
but
him bring it up, and I
everything-
just question, how good it is, like how accurate it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what are they going on?
You can buy CBD plants in Aldi already from like the supermarkets, Aldi's and stuff out there.
In Canada, right?
Switzerland.
Oh, right, in
Switzerland.
Switzerland. No way.
Yeah, yeah. you can
Aldi
buy it-
weed. Wow.
Yeah.
Buy them at the grocery store?
Well, yeah, local produce like cuttings
Fucking
from
hell,
local
imagine
sellers.
that shit. Fucking stainless
Well, I
steel
guess
haze instead of silver haze, you know?
It did say at the beginning that there's medical use and non-medical use if it's like less than 1% THC. So
Mhm.
technically it's legal to buy CBD.
Yeah, so they sell the plants in Aldi, have their little plant
Wow.
section. That's cool, isn't it?
That's crazy,
Kind of
man.
like a
Yeah.
decriminalization.
Damn.
Imagine going in Tesco's, Macky, or M&S, not just any cannabis, M&S cannabis, like
Man,
yeah,
yeah,
have their little
Waitrose,
M&S strains. Yeah,
Waitrose
Waitrose own.
cannabis cuttings.
Yeah, yeah. Waitrose weed.
Fucking hell. One day, it's bound to happen one day, and it's good to see Switzerland are making move forward here. But of course, just like most of these places that have legalized or plan to do it, they just have these bullshit rules that get put in place as well. But I think over time, they all do get removed, and it goes to I don't know, some kind of more rational model for legalization. Just takes time to
Find
get
the
there.
medium.
Yeah, well, not even the medium.
Or large.
I just don't like the whole plant numbers thing. That really bothers me when they throw plant
Yeah.
numbers on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that
plants
is.
is
Where do they all
pointless.
come up with these numbers, man? Like everybody, it's just a range everywhere you look.
Mhm,
Every state
And
in
it-
the U.S. is different. Like,
And
Yeah,
it's
I
always
know,
by
it doesn't
people
make a
that
lot of
don't know as well. That's the
yeah,
issue.
that's
innit?
that's the problem. That's the problem. You were saying,
Hmm.
Margaret?
So it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
Hey, what's in Canada? It's like 12 plants or something you can grow, right? Unless you're doing it for medical, and then you can have like
No, it's
90.
4.
Oh, is it 4? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
I have
not
5 in
enough
my
either.
tent right now. Don't tell anybody.
Jesus,
Oh, you are
Margaret,
going to
Jesus.
jail?
You know what? 4 of
Oh
them are
my God.
micros.
Allegedly.
There's 4
Allegedly.
micros, and they're so small.
They
And
don't. They won't take that into consideration.
fuck 'em, let 'em come.
You know, fuck. You know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is. It's so stupid.
That's right.
Ugh.
But it's good to see another
See-
European country stepping in the right direction. You know, there might be
Yeah, they're
adding
talking
some
about it.
things to trip up on the way here, but at least this, I mean, that's Germany, Spain, and Switzerland, then, if they do that, and the Netherlands, of course. So it
Isn't there
seems
another place that legalized already?
in
Luxembourg or something?
maybe Luxembourg were talking about it,
Ukraine
weren't they?
leased recently as well, isn't it?
You see, so but Ukraine's not in in the European Union yet, is it? I say
No.
yet.
No.
Ukraine's got other problems at the
Yes,
moment.
they've
Yeah.
got other things to deal with right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's
I
so
didn't notice.
it seems like it's going the way the states went. You know, like one state started, and then the next one went,
Yeah.
and the next one went, and I think that's going to happen all the way through the European Union. But for us here in the UK, we left the European Union in like 2016. So again, it's, man, I'm not very optimistic when it comes to legalization here in the UK. But we can hope, right? Just don't hold your breath. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, good story.
Yeah.
Some good news to start with there. I like that, Margaret. I like that. Nice bit of good news.
Yeah.
Golf clap. Golf clap.
Yeah. Clap, 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 clap. There we go. Yes. So what should we do next? Let's get stuck in with the controversy and just go RFK. Let's go. Let's go.
I'll rip the Band-Aid off.
Is
with
that's what you want to go with? We're just gonna get right
Go
into
rip
it.
Let's
it
do
off.
it. Let's do it.
All right, I'd rather it be now than later. So
That's
all right.
right.
So coming from marijuana moment, RFK Jr. says marijuana can have catastrophic impacts on consumers, but state level legalization can spur research on its harms and benefits. Fresh off his Senate confirmation vote to become the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said on Thursday that he is worried about the normalization of high potency marijuana and that he feels its use can have really catastrophic impacts on people. But the state level legalization can facilitate research into its harms and benefits, which we need more of. Kennedy, who was vocal about his support for marijuana legalization when he was running for president, as well as during his time on the Trump transition team, has been notably silent on cannabis policy issues over recent months as he worked to win over senators to secure confirmation for the country's top health role. Now, during his first major media interview since receiving that final vote to secure the cabinet position earlier in the day, Kennedy told Fox News' Laura Ingraham that he believes cannabis does hold serious harm potential. A recent Canadian study suggests that legalization of marijuana has led to a decrease in beer sales. Canada-wide beer sales fell by 96 hectoliters per 100,000 population immediately after non-medical cannabis legalization, and by 4 hectoliters per 100,000 population each month thereafter, for an average monthly reduction of 136 hectoliters per 100,000 population post legalization. Okay, I live in America. What is a hectoliter?
A lot of
I
beer.
don't know either.
Okay, okay. I just thought
It's
I'd
going to be
throw that out
100
there, see if
liters,
somebody
maybe
knew.
hectoliter. I don't know.
1,000 maybe?
Oh, somebody,
No,
somebody.
because that would
Google it.
be well,
A hectare?
yeah.
Is that
What
I
would
have
that
no
be?
idea.
Mm.
Right. Post legalization. The researchers from University of Manitoba, Memorial University of Newfoundland, and University of Toronto found the researchers speculate that a substitution effect may be occurring, with consumers increasingly choosing marijuana over beer. Interestingly, the trend did not extend to sales of spirits. When broken down by beer type, the study found declines in sales of canned and kegged beer, but no reduction in sales of bottled beer. One explanation is that cans may be preferred to bottles in the context of individual consumption at home due to the increasing popularity and availability of cans, as well as the better taste and drinking experience that they offer, the study says. I disagree with that. I like beer out of a bottle over a can. Additionally, recent data shows that Canada generated more excise tax revenue from marijuana than wine and beer combined in the 2022 to 2023 fiscal year. Similarly, in several legal jurisdictions in the United States, cannabis sales have outpaced alcohol sales. A multinational investment bank noted in a recent report that marijuana has become a significant competitor to alcohol. It also says marijuana sales are estimated to reach 37 billion in 2027 in the US as more states or more state markets come online. The HHS secretary, who personally struggled with drug addiction during his youth, was asked about his cannabis policy position and noted that he's been in recovery for over 40 years and attends daily 12-step meetings. I hear stories all the time of the impacts of marijuana on people and the realistic catastrophic impacts on them, he said. However, Kennedy said that worry also has to be balanced with the impact that we've had before as it relates to criminalization. 25 states have now legalized marijuana, but we had about a third of our prison population that was in jail because of marijuana offenses, he said. That's something we don't want either. Because of the legalization of recreational marijuana in 25 states, we have now a capacity to really study it and to compare it to states, he said. We need to do studies, we need to figure it out, and then we need to implement policies to address any health concerns. Somebody needs to check this. That's a double right there. Of course, HHS has already completed a comprehensive scientific study into cannabis that led the agency under the Biden administration to recommend moving marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substance Act. The new comments come on the same day that Senator Pete Ricketts, representative of Nebraska, said he received a commitment from Kennedy to follow science on the harms of marijuana. Ricketts had already disclosed last week that he spoke to Kennedy about the importance of preventing the expansion of marijuana. Now he says RFK committed to me that he would follow the science on the harms of marijuana. The senator separately filed a bill last week alongside Senator James Langford, representative of Oklahoma, that seeks to prevent the marijuana industry from taking federal tax deductions, even if it's rescheduling. Despite Kennedy's history of advocating for cannabis legalization, he said last month that he will defer to the Drug Enforcement Administration on marijuana rescheduling in his new role. That could complicate rescheduling. On Monday, Trump officially named his pick to lead DEA, selecting a decades-long agency veteran and top Virginia official who voiced concerns about the dangers of marijuana and linked its use to higher suicide risk among youth. Separately, anti-marijuana representative Andy Harris of Maryland told Marijuana Moment last week that it's definitely time to have the talk with Kennedy to convince him that marijuana is harmful and that the way to make Americans healthy is by limiting its use. Can we talk about the good stuff? Like, why we keep talking about the bad stuff right now? Like, benefits. Let's do research for benefits. Prior to Kennedy's written responses to members of the Senate Finance Committee that gave him initial approval, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, pressed him to reiterate his position on marijuana legalization amid the ongoing effort to federally reschedule cannabis. A political action committee found by former Vice President Mike Pence had attempted to undermine the confirmation Kennedy as HHS Secretary, in part by drawing attention to his support for marijuana and psychedelics reform, as well as his personal history with substance misuse. Kennedy followed a dizzying path to the Trump administration, entering the 2024 presidential election as a Democratic candidate before switching to independent as he lagged in the polls and then eventually endorsed.
As he lagged in the polls? Is that how they're labeling that? Oh my God. Oh my God. That is not what happened, everybody. Do some research. That is not what
Yeah.
happened. My gosh.
This, I mean, I'm gonna finish it out. We only got a little bit left here.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry
In
for the
Oc-
outburst, everybody. I apologize.
no,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. In October, Kennedy specifically criticized the Food and Drug Administration over the agency's suppression of psychedelics and a laundry list of other issues that he had amounted to a war on public health that would end under the Trump administration. Meanwhile, a top U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs official recently said it's very encouraging that Kennedy supports psychedelics reform, and he hopes to work with him on the issue if he stays on for the next administration. Not anyone shares VA Under Secretary for Health Sharif El-Nal's enthusiasm for Kennedy as the potential HHS secretary. However, author Michael Pollan, for example, said that Trump's pick could prove very dangerous to the psychedelics movement, even though he is a supporter of reform. He said the prospective nominee might pursue federal reform in a way that delegitimizes the science behind substances such as I can't say that word.
Psilocybin. Yes.
Yeah, psilocybin. By contrast, Ricky Perry, a former governor of Texas, who also served in the first Trump administration, recently said the president-elect's choice for key health policy positions, including Kennedy, are a great gift for the psychedelics reform movement, particularly as it concerns access to ibogaine as a treatment, ibogaine, right?
Mhm.
As a treatment option for serious mental health conditions.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
it there.
Let's use ibogaine instead of cannabis, because that's
I know.
completely fucking risk-free. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I mean,
Ibogaine's like pretty serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I know about it, but
Yeah, from what I've heard. Yeah, it sounds like some crazy stuff. Yes.
yeah, I don't. The article really like it. It seems like it starts out kind of decent, but then it just the further it went on, it just kind of like drug everything down, in my opinion. Like it's almost one-sided. Just forced it to be a bad article, in my opinion.
Some bullshit, man.
Yeah.
so he was really supportive of cannabis reform, and now he's waffling a little bit. Is that?
That's kind of how they make it sound, but I think where they're getting that from is because of the whole nomination thing and having to go through, all
But
the questioning and stuff. I
you
have a
have to
feeling
remember
he
as well-
dialed it back.
what
Has he
you
not been
see,
confirmed?
yeah, it's confirmed now.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is HHS now.
Yeah, now.
But
Yeah.
I've seen just so much bullshit from all over the place on both sides on mainstream media. You just don't know what they're fucking saying. All of this shit which they've just said in this news article could have been taken out of context, could have been exaggerated or put in a certain way to make it look from a specific perspective. I just can't believe anything that I read anymore. And it's like, whatever they say, whatever you say, carry on with your news article. Whatever you say, we'll see what actually happens. Because
Right.
that's what just seems to be happening all the time now. Is they just bullshit. I can't believe a thing I see in the news anymore. I'm really.
Well, it definitely seems like
skeptical.
they wrote it to one side. You know what I mean? To downplay
It's
cannabis.
interesting
and-
though, because the article does come from Marijuana Moment, which is a
Mhm.
Yeah.
cannabis-friendly platform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but where would they be getting their information from? From what news networks are they getting it from? So they'll be receiving a certain perspective. And RFK is not for Big Pharma. Big Pharma owns all of these news organizations, like every
Right.
single one of them. They have the adverts on in the news breaks on all of these news networks. And that's just
Right.
so they can control the narrative. They can't speak out and say bad things about Big Pharma because Big Pharma
Right.
pays their bills. So even if a negative story comes up about anything to do with Big Pharma or Big medicine, then
Oh, I
it
know. I
doesn't get
see Fox
reported,
News, and I tell you, the amount of pharmaceutical ads on that fucking channel.
Oh, it's everywhere now, and we're the only
Everywhere.
country that allows that crap.
And New Zealand,
don't know,
but New
is-
Zealand are a little bit more restrictive. But yeah, USA and New
Yeah.
Zealand are the only countries that allow that kind of advertisement on their TVs.
And it's
Madness.
a lot here. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to say about this, I wish these guys would have actually tried to get information from RFK or his staff pertaining to this instead of just piecing stuff out, because I think it would have been a whole different conversation
Yeah.
in this article.
Yeah, so we just got to see what happens. I mean, Trump also
Yeah.
said that he was gonna do something about the legalization of cannabis as well. So we're still waiting to see something from that. But just like every other politician, they're all full of shit, and you can only believe it when it actually happens. Billy, you've been quiet in the
Yeah.
background here. What are you saying about all this?
I think it'd just be interesting because, like you say, he's anti-farmer, so and they're anti-him, so you don't know what the angle is. I think things have changed though because they hand it all down to the states, and I think they want the banking to change on it as well because the states that are legal can then get banking, so they can sort out all that sort of side of things. So things are going to change. So, and I think they're only could be for the good because no matter what studies they do, there's so much good evidence now on behalf of cannabis. Once they get presented that, they'll be like, oh,
Right.
maybe we should go the other way then because of the evidence, because he's going towards the evidence, and the evidence is sort of 80% good, really.
Yeah,
to be honest, isn't it?
that's
Probably
it.
90.
But what evidence do they want to dwell on, though? That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but obviously, there's a lot of big pressure groups out there who are got the money to back them, like Normal and all that, which will get them the information. So it's likely, he's going to listen to the real information. So that's what's going to be interesting.
Take this pill to cure your mild eczema. May cause depression, rash, blindness, and sudden death. You know what I'm saying, Backlast? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My God damn.
It's ridiculous how like you could watch like here in the US, you'll get like a 30-second ad, 15 seconds of it is the ad, and then like the rest of it seems to be like all the side effects and all that.
Right.
It's terrible.
Rather than
bad.
eat a plant where its side effects are drowsiness and hunger. It's like, yeah,
madness.
might sleep and get the munchies.
But good luck to RFK. I hope he does good things. He seems to have some good ideas about things. I know he's got some controversial ones too. But it's time for change, isn't it? It's time for change.
Yeah.
According to the statistics, the USA is one of the most unhealthy countries on the planet. So whatever has been going on hasn't been working. So maybe it's time for a little bit of a change in approach to see what can be done there. So good luck to RFK. I hope he does well. Let's see what happens over the next few years. This is all we can do right now. See what the results are. How do you feel about it, John?
What? What now?
How do you feel about
how
it?
I feel about it?
Yeah, about the whole RFK getting involved.
I mean, I think he's got good stuff going on. I just hope he doesn't flop back because of lobbyists and stuff like that. Because I think he does have good ideas, and he seems to focus on, in my opinion, some of the right spots. Food, the drugs we're taking. I mean, I don't understand why other people haven't focused on this in the past 100 years, but hey,
follow the money.
Follow the money, indeed.
Exactly.
Follow the money.
And it really upset me when I watched a lot of this stuff and the people presenting him as, oh, he's a former addict, and give him just shit about it.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the whole point? And like, he's reformed now.
Yeah.
He's been doing good since then and making his life better. Look, he's an older gentleman. He's pretty ripped, man.
He's like 70. Isn't this guy in the gym?
Yeah.
Dude,
he's got a good tan. I'm sure we
we
all noticed his tan. I know a few people said about his tan there in the chat.
Yeah.
But he's well built. He looks after himself now. And
well, right.
compared to the last guy who had this job. Sorry, lady. the last lady who had this job. The difference between the two is quite stark, man. You can see who looks after their health and who doesn't. But that doesn't mean that he knows what he's talking about. But I think he's going to be able to approach the right scientists to get the right answers and move according to the studies. And hopefully, I think he's rich enough so he won't get bought off. But you never know what's going to happen. We just have to wait and see, don't we?
Yeah. We're only like a month in. Come on. Let's
That's right.
True
well,
enough.
RFK wants Labour camps for addicts, says Rev P. I'm very skeptical of that claim.
Okay.
That's, as I said, the things you see on the mainstream media are usually hyped up in some way and spin it from a particular angle to make it seem like that shit's going on because they've taken somebody's words out of context and make them look in a particular light. So yeah, I'm skeptical of that claim because that's crazy.
I mean, he's an addict. you know,
Also, have you
an
seen
ex-addict.
some of the
Mhm.
treatment you get in the private clinics, which you pay for as rehab clinics? They're worse than fucking labour camps. So, like,
Well,
Mm,
maybe. I don't know about that. Okay, allegedly.
allegedly,
allegedly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
allegedly.
Labor camps,
Yeah.
you just think of like what is it? The gulag and shit. Them days
Yeah.
back in Russia, you know.
Hmm.
Crazy times, man. I
Yeah,
hope we
no,
don't head
no.
there. This is it. We just got to wait and see what happens here, because it's come to the point
Yep.
where we can't believe what the media says anyway. So whatever they say, whatever you say, let's see what
Go look
actually
it up for
happens.
yourself.
That's
In
right.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
in it, it's actual fact what I'm more interested in, and
Hmm
of what
hmm
happens. Yeah,
Not the
actions.
not the perspective of a company that's big pharma ran and big pharma owned. I'm not interested in what they have to say because it's obviously going to be
No.
biased. So they can fuck off. Their opinion doesn't mean much to me. So
Mhm.
yeah, as I say, let's see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting. Let us know what you think about the whole RFK thing in the chat if you have something to say about it there, everybody, or in the comments if you're watching afterwards. That would be cool as well, because this is going to be an interesting one. We'll see where this leads. But what are we saying about Spain then, Billy? Spain's got some shit going on with their medical.
Yeah, basically, they've had some shit going on recently, and Spain's long-awaited medical cannabis program, it's finally taken steps forward as a draft of royal decree has been sent to the European Union for approval. It's oh, one sec.
What happened? Did you drop his joint or
I
something?
don't know.
No, professional coughing.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
Oh,
Right.
very
All right,
nice.
so
Very nice.
there was so
That
much
was
dead
very.
air. I don't know how that works as
Yeah,
professional.
yeah, if
that's
you
right.
could hear it, that's why it's professional.
Maybe just mute a couple of them so so we know that you're coughing and it's not just dead air. You know,
Okay, yeah,
just like mute. Can come back.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, if approved, this should give Spanish patients legal access to medical cannabis for the first time in the country's history late this year. However, despite the country now being one of Europe's leading cultivation locations, the proposed framework has been described as feeble and would represent one of the most conservative medical cannabis models any country yet to legalize it. So, despite continued efforts from the country's advocacy groups and businesses alike, there now seems to be little room for the program to be expanded in the future, which providing little respite for patients, really. So, last month, the Spanish Agency for Medicines and Products submitted its draft decree to Brussels following numerous public consultation periods. So, a business cannabis reported at the time the draft decree was immediately criticised for its restrictive nature, preventing the country's extensive network of local pharmacies from being able to prescribe and dismantling cannabis flower as an option for patients. So, um, sorry, to prescribe and dismissing cannabis flower as an option for patients. So just saying, no, you're not going to get flowers. So it's a bit crap, isn't it? So
Hmm.
despite continued calls for reform, it appears little was changed in the draft. It may even got more restrictive. The EU now has 3 months to respond to the draft, and if it's approved, Spain Council of State will issue a non-binding recommendation after which the government can finalise the law. So this means that in theory, Spain could have a medical market by the end of the summer, really. However, given that the domestically grown cannabis is strictly for export only, that's just stupid, isn't it? And there are
Yeah.
no suggestions there could be changed if the draft is passed. It's likely that the additional time will be needed to import products, develop formulations, and train medical professionals. So the proposed bill would mean that cannabis can only be prescribed as a last resort, as a patient has provided other treatments and that failed to be effective. So you've got to take loads of pharma shit first. Get all the
Ridiculous.
side effects of that. Yeah. Oh, so your liver's shut down and broken? Is it because of your pills? Or maybe try cannabis now. It's like fucking
Which
hell.
you've
Like,
already
yeah,
done the damage,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. Once
It's madness.
you've done the damage.
That would just never make sense to me. I think, I suppose I'm in a bit of an echo chamber, as I said before, but I think cannabis should be the first one they try. And then if
yeah.
cannabis doesn't work, try all the fucking poisonous shit. But you know what I'm saying? It's madness, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Billy.
Yeah. No, it's crazy, sort of. So, like, the cannabis can only be prescribed for spasticity in multiple sclerosis. severe therapy-resistant epilepsy, nausea and vomiting caused by chemotherapy, and chronic therapy-resistant pain. So, like the conditions such as fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and depression, which have documented benefits from use of cannabis, are excluded.
Fuckers.
A
Stupid.
primary concern among patient advocates is that cannabis flower will also not be allowed, but only standardized oils. Pile of crap. So, furthermore, only medical specialists will be allowed to prescribe, not general practitioners. So, that's even again very few. These will only be accessible through hospital pharmacies, meaning that the rural areas again will struggle to gain access. So again, Professor Manuel Guzman, who's a biochemist of molecular biology, member of the Spanish Royal Academy of Pharmacy, and member of the board of directors of the International Association for Cannabinoid Medicine, says that he's deeply frustrated about all the limitations. So again, it's like it's just nothing better and remains highly restrictive.
You want to take a drink of water, Billy? Don't feel stressed
Yeah,
to
I
rush
think I
through it,
will.
mate. Don't sit there choking. Look, I can edit it out where you get a drink. Let me
It,
just say
it
there's
blows my mind that Spain only cultivates for export, and
That's
this
yeah.
is just now happening, man.
Right.
Wow, bro.
Craziness, man.
Yeah, so they're just
Is.
limiting access basically to people in the country as well, while it's still tightly regulated and with limited speciality. So it's again the same shit we're going through in the UK. They've just transferred it over, the same crap, really.
Yeah.
And the article just goes on and on and on. It goes on for quite a while, this article, so it ain't worth going on. It just goes through the same shit.
Yeah.
And basically saying that it's just not good enough and the decree is nothing better than just being a waste of time almost, to be honest. Sort of, it's too limited.
It's madness, isn't it? I mean, how many people calling out for this shit? And but
yeah,
you know, the government think that they know better and be like, oh no, we can't legalize now. You can't have this for medical. We can't do that. You can't do this. Like, fuck you, man. Do as you're told. That's what you need to do.
Right.
Don't tell us what we should be doing. We'll tell you what you should be doing. You
See,
implement
this
the
is-
changes we want. These fuckers.
This is the fucking problem, isn't it? It's like the people tell the government what the fucking shit goes on, but it is the government and telling the people now. So everyone lives in a draconian tyranny.
Yeah,
That's how we live in Europe. Yeah,
it's starting to feel that way, especially here in the UK. Things are getting so crazy.
Yep.
But you can't say that. Sorry, I didn't mean that. UK.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We're just playing a character living in a dystopian society. We're just playing a character. Really, it's beautiful here. This is utopian. Beautiful.
We're all actually acting right now.
That's right. We're just playing a character like a
role.
Charles Dickens movie.
Yeah.
Charles Dickens movie. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's beautiful here, really. There is no problems. All hail Keir Starmer.
Fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Everything is awesome. We definitely didn't peak in the 90s. We are peaking now. This is better than ever.
Not at all.
That's twice I've done that. Fuck. Did you
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, we heard that. Throwing everything about there, clinking glasses.
Goddamn.
His
So
hands
unprofessional.
are just flailing.
Yeah.
You know,
You know-
fucking out of control.
It's the most professional show ever, this one.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's
You know,
a
you got it's peaks and troughs, man. Sometimes it's fucking really professional. Sometimes it's really not professional. You know, when we've done as many shows as we've got, we can't all be the same. We have to throw some unprofessional ones out there because the next week you got to be like, damn, that show was really fucking professional. When it's just normal. You know
Gotta
what I
keep people
mean?
like on their
That's right.
toes, right? Like,
Gotta keep people guessing,
keep them
man.
coming back. What's gonna happen this week?
Pagan says all good shows. Thank you, Pagan. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. You know, it's just real. That's what you get here at High on Homegrown. You get real, authentic, just people just enjoying their Sunday evening, reading some news articles and sharing it with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, good times.
And then giving feedback.
That's right. That's right. That's something you never get. You never get feedback, right? You know, like mic feedback. You know. You never get that. At least we got good sound. Yeah, it's just different to see because Spain's already kind of legal, aren't they? They have that system, and to see that they're trying to hold back on the medical like this, it's a bit of a fucking piss take, man. It's like, come
Yeah,
on.
that's what makes it so stupid, isn't it? It's like they're growing
Mhm.
weed, they can export it for the medical use in the UK for the UK people to consume, but like their own people can't do it. It's just fucking ludicrous, mate.
That's
They're just
mental.
shooting
Yeah.
themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah.
they're-
They were like
they're-
almost there, and then they
It's like, no, we don't want $1 billion more in tax at all. Plus all the other revenue it brings, like in business and employment
Tourism and
and tourism and
Yeah.
everything else
Jesus
along the
Christ.
lines. Yeah, but the amount of people that be employed and then that boosts housing stuff. Everything goes up for every person that gets a
Right.
job. It's like they need a house, they need a fridge. If you know what I mean, they need to be able to fill that fridge. They need a bed to sleep in. Yeah, if you know what I mean. So
Need a bag of
everyone,
weed to enjoy over the weekend.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like, but
shit.
like, yeah, but everyone benefits, like because someone needs to buy their shit for their new life they've just created with that new job. So it's like
Mhm.
it just turning down billions.
So
It's just
Spain is
crazy.
currently like they have this. They're working on this medical program. So is cannabis illegal then currently?
Yeah,
Because cannabis is coming up in like a few weeks, isn't it?
yeah, but it's still illegal.
Right.
It's only because you're the consuming behind closed doors law. If
Oh,
you know
I
what
see.
I mean, it's like what happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors in Spain, basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they get around it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Margaret.
And let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Even still in 2025, we're still dealing with this bullshit, man. Oh
Mm.
God, it just drives you crazy when you think about it. Like how long this has been going on for. Man, who are these government motherfuckers to tell us that we can't have cannabis for this long and think that they can get away with it? It just baffles me, man. God damn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When they're all there just sniffing coke off hookers' tits, allegedly. Allegedly,
So
everybody.
this isn't the 80s, Macky.
You
God.
know?
Right. The
You know
days
what
Come
I
of
on,
the
man.
TRT lunch are over.
You know what I mean?
How thick of an envelope do you think we need to send off this week to keep them off our backs, mate? Come on.
Oh gosh. Crazy. But we'll keep you informed of what happens in Spain and the rest of Europe. I'm sure there's
Mhm.
going to be more news coming soon. But hopefully we just start heading in the right direction. Spain, this is not the right direction. And I know that I'm saying that from the UK, so really I can't say anything because we're not going in the right direction either. In any way, never mind just cannabis. So, you do you, Spain, and we'll just watch. Good luck. Damn. It's like better just stay quiet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish.
You know what I mean? God damn. What we're saying about this whole the dental thing then, Margaret? What's this one?
Yeah, this is from nature.com. Frequent cannabis use and its effects on dental health. So let's find out what they're
Allegedly.
allegedly. Well, yeah.
Mhm.
Allegedly, according to the words in the article I'm about to read.
Well, it's a
A
medical one,
recent,
so we should just randomly throw that word in there now and again just to keep YouTube off
right.
our backs,
A
Mhm.
recent study published in the Journal of the American Dental Association examined the impact of frequent recreational cannabis
Oh my
or
god, and I got that in
FRC.
brackets FRC. Oh my god.
Yeah, these people
It's going
love
to be
their
used.
acronyms. So
Wow.
we're doing well if we get through this article with only one. So let's see what happens. The FRC use on dental health using data from 5,656 participants, representing 142 million US adults aged 18 to 59 in the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. Oh, there's the second acronym.
Mm-hmm.
The study assessed untreated coronal and root caries as well as severe tooth loss. The study found that 29% of participants, approximately 418 million people, reported FRC use, defined as cannabis use at least once a month for a year or more.
What?
That's
Wow.
frequent. That's considered frequent recreational cannabis use.
Jesus Christ. They're lying.
Wow. Once a month, eh? Anyway, compared to non-users, FRC users exhibited higher rates of untreated dental issues, 27% had untreated coronal caries, 16% had untreated root caries, and 6.5% experienced severe tooth loss. After adjusting for socio-demographic factors, alcohol use, and other varieties, FRC users were found to have a 17% higher likelihood of untreated coronal caries, a 55% higher likelihood of untreated root caries, and a 41% higher likelihood of severe tooth loss. However, these associations were no longer statistically significant after accounting for smoking, suggesting that smoking may mediate the observed effects.
Wow.
So, if you smoke and use cannabis, you
Pile of crap.
It's like
I
that
don't think it
article
has
which
to do
we.
with cannabis at all. I think it has to do with just smoking it.
Yeah, it's like that article we saw last week, was it? Where it's like cannabis may cause death, and then it was like, and studies show that it doesn't really actually cause death. It's like what you just said in the title. It's like.
Now, the article does go on to say the authors propose that cannabis-related oral health issues may stem from a combination of the following factors: reduced saliva buffering capacity, so
Okay.
cottonmouth, dietary changes associated with cannabis-induced appetite stimulation, i.e., favoring high sugar foods or
Then that's the high sugar food that's fucking doing it, not
Shit was
cannabis.
written
isn't
by
it?
That
either
could
a
be, 'cause this
Canadian
was-
or a UK person.
This was written for in the U.S. The American Dental Association, Journal of the American Dental Association. And finally, chronic oral inflammation due to chemicals in cannabis smoke, which can lead to periodontitis
Periodontitis.
and focal lesions, which means perhaps if you changed your delivery methods to like edibles, then it might help. Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than oral boof it.
You could also boof it. Yeah. But that's processed differently by the liver then, allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't,
They're saying that you can have like more cavities and stuff just by consuming cannabis once a month.
you're crazy.
That's
But
ridiculous, man.
I seen I seen a study that they did before about how having bad teeth also causes heart disease, and there's just loads of controversy because it's like, is it the bad teeth that cause the heart disease, or having bad teeth and the kind of lifestyle that causes heart disease go hand in hand? And I think that's similar to what's going on here. It's like it's not the cannabis that's causing any problems with the dental health. It's just people who would consume cannabis might have the kind of lifestyle where they don't look after their teeth so much. I'm not saying they all do, but you know, on a small percentage less than the general population, let's say. You know what I mean? You might just get high and fall to sleep after eating a load of crisps or chips, as you would say, or sweets, because they also got sugars in as well. And you just fall asleep instead of going to brush your teeth. You know, we've all done it. Then you wake up with furry mouth, and you got to go, and that's got to be bad as well. You know, well, maybe that's the case. You know what I mean? So
It does
don't
say
think
though
it's
that they
cannabis.
adjusted for socio-demographic factors, alcohol use, and other co-varieties, but I wish they would say what those other co-varieties were. Because reading this list, like I still get a cotton mouth from eating edibles too, so I don't know if I'm safe.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So,
I think I
don't
get
know.
from the times I've eaten edibles, I think I get cotton mouth worse when I do edibles than compared to when I smoke.
Right.
Yeah, man. But still, nice. You know what I mean?
So what they're saying, if you're boofless, you'd be toothless.
That's right. That's gonna be. You should fucking copyright that quick time, Billy, because they're gonna
copyright
fucking
quick, yeah.
slogan that. 9 out of
Maybe
10
the
dentists agree.
The other
Yeah, I don't-
takeaway from this might also be then, if you are a frequent recreational cannabis user, just
Once a month.
like pay a little more attention to your oral health to sort of mitigate these potential factors.
Well, Viking has a good idea in the chat there. Inject your marijuanas, you know?
That's a good point, actually. Yeah,
I mean,
but I heard that's dangerous. 3 of them a day will kill you.
yeah, fuck, you know. You know, just
Oh
try
my.
and take care of your teeth, because toothache's not good, man. Fuck.
No.
Yeah, no, tooth stuff is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Yeah,
fun.
don't use pliers either.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to get it out, you got to get it out, man. Just saying.
And your
dentists
teeth.
are expensive.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem is the expense. You know, if I could go to the dentist and have like not the turkey teeth. There's just I don't know if you guys know what that is. Here in the UK, we have
Turkey teeth.
people who travel over to Turkey to have all new teeth put in, and we call them turkey
Oh.
teeth because they just look like slabs of white blocks in people's mouths.
You know what?
It's terrible.
I've
They do
seen
the
something like
Mexico
that
thing here, too.
recently. I think it was maybe Mexico, but people talking about these veneers they were getting and like
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
medical tourism, and they were so
that's
bad.
turkey teeth.
That's
is,
it. Yeah, that's turkey
Yeah.
teeth in the UK.
Yeah.
That's what we call it. God damn.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, people are strange.
It is a
aren't
lot cheaper to go to those places to get stuff done, though. Like
they?
Yeah,
Mm,
it
over
would
the
be nice if
US
they
for
looked like
sure.
teeth. They don't even look
Yeah.
like teeth,
Yeah.
that's right. Just like
Crazy.
Lego blocks.
and they're like
Mhm.
blinding. They're so white. Like sometimes shades of white in a person's mouth is like matches their skin tone and all that stuff.
It's
But
not too
these
loud. Yeah.
teeth are like LED lights at night when you're driving.
You know what I mean?
Oh boy. That totally brings me to like some stand-up comedy I watched, and I loved every minute of it. Okay, go on. Moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward, we got one more story to get to, but that was an interesting one. The whole, yeah, I'd like to see more about this kind of study. You know,
There's
instead
a
of
different
just,
take on it, right? Like I've never
Mm.
heard anybody bring that up before.
yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. Just
Hmm.
take care of your teeth, everybody. You'll miss them when they're gone.
Yep.
Or you'll regret it when you're rolling around holding onto your face because you got toothache. I've been very lucky. I've only had toothache like twice in my whole fucking life, man. So I've been real lucky in those aspects. I just
You are super lucky.
That's right, and I just know that in the future, toothache's coming, motherfucker. I know it's coming.
It's on the way, mate.
That's right.
Hopefully you get to keep your
It's
teeth,
inevitable.
man.
Exactly. So
I
just
mean-
try and look after them. God damn, because man, oof, I've had
It
bad
is
times
true,
with
and
toothache.
people do actually have a lot. Like, if you lose teeth, it can cause a lot of other health conditions, obviously,
Mhm,
because of
mhm.
It is a
having
fact.
teeth. Yeah.
Headaches. You might not even feel that you have a toothache or anything, and you'll just have headaches.
Yeah. Even sinus
stupid.
infections.
I
like,
I
loads of
say
shit.
that because I have no top teeth. Like they're gone.
Mm.
Boo.
And I had so many problems with my teeth, and it probably is hereditary because it didn't matter what I did.
Mm,
Like
mm.
all my
Right. Some
family,
people are
like
just
my
more
grandparents,
prone.
my mom,
Yeah.
no teeth, man. Like,
Well, there's a specific kind of bacteria that gets into your mouth which makes the cavities, and it's like cold sores. There's that herpes virus. That babies don't have
Mhm.
that, but when a family member kisses them, because that's what people do to babies. But if they have that herpes
Mhm.
virus in their saliva, then it goes in and lays dormant in the baby's mouth as well. Very dangerous. But it's the same
Yeah.
thing with the bacteria that causes cavities in teeth. It's like if you don't get
Right.
that bacteria in your mouth, that makes it all extra acidic. Then you'll be fine. Some people don't get cavities because they don't have that
Mhm.
bacteria in their mouth, but because it's so common in humans, it gets in there, man. So just be careful what you're doing. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, cavity prevention is
Yep.
important. Very important.
It's our
But
PSA
anyway, yes, that's right. That's the PSA for today. Everybody, take care of your
Well
teeth.
done.
Anyway, so this guy went to Russia for some reason. I don't know why he would go there. But U.S. man held in Russia for carrying cannabis sweets. State media. Now, this is something that just appealed to me when I read the title. It was like state media. It's like Russian state media propaganda, because we don't have that here, do we? No. All our media is free and objective. That's right. Fucking ridiculous. The way they make out like Russia and China is fucking different. They're all liars. They're all fucking liars.
Mhm.
God damn. But I won't get started on that rant. God damn. An American man is being held in Russia after airport security discovered cannabis-laced sweets in his luggage, according to Russian state media. There it is again. So it's all lies, everybody. It's all lies. Just all propaganda because it's from the Russian state media. The 28-year-old man, who is not named in the reports, is facing drug charges after he was arrested at Moscow's Vnukovo.
Wait, what?
Let's say this word: Vnukovo. Vnukovo.
Vukovo.
What was that, Margaret? I
Vnukovo?
think you nailed it there.
If you say it fast enough.
Nukovo.
It was.
Yes, yes,
Nukovo.
He was
I don't
arrested
think
at
you say the
Moscow's
V.
airport. All right, at Moscow's International Airport. He was arrested last week. That's what happened. According to Russian state according to Russian state news agency TASS, a drug sniffing dog alerted security to one of his bags, which was then found to contain 2 jars and a plastic bag of cannabis products. The US State Department told the BBC it was aware of the reports and it was monitoring the case closely. The TASS report said the man arrived in Moscow from Istanbul on the 7th of February and later explained to airport security that the items he had been prescribed by a doctor in America. He is facing the potential prison term of 5 to 10 years on drug smuggling charges, as well as a fine of 1 million rubles. That's 10,000 US dollars. State media reports. Let's not go into the rant yet. US releases, is more titles. In recent years, Russia has detained a number of US citizens on drugs charges, with some Western officials suggesting that the Kremlin is hoarding Americans to trade for allies and operatives imprisoned abroad. And this is what I was going to go on, and it's just encouraging me now. But remember the whole Brittany Griner thing? Who got locked up, and she got swapped?
How did this kid not learn?
What's that?
Oh, people don't think they're gonna get caught. That's the thing, you know. But remember when Brittany Griner was swapped for the what was he called? The guy is like he was some like mass murderer,
Russian
killer. Yeah, you know, the General of Death or something. I can't remember
something like that.
You know, he was like well known for being crazy, and they was like, we'll just swap you for this basketball player, no problem. And that Russia's just got to be collecting these guys up, putting them up on the shelf, and be like, I'll take, Pokemon cards and shit. I swapped 3 of my cards for one of your cards. Like, what did your card do? It's like, just smuggled nuclear material. So, cool, we'll swap him for this guy who had the gummies. No problem. God damn. It's madness, isn't it? Prisoner exchanges occurred as recently as this week when a Russian national jailed in the US on money laundering charges was freed in exchange for American Mark Fogel, who was arrested for cannabis possession in 2021. Yeah, that's crazy. Mr. Fogel, who was also arrested at a Russian airport, was charged with carrying a small amount of medical marijuana and given a 14-year prison sentence. Damn. US basketball star Brittany Griner, who was arrested in Russia on a similar charge of cannabis possession in 2022, was freed in exchange for Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout in perhaps the most high-profile case, and that's the one just I mentioned there. Last year also saw the biggest prisoner exchange between Russia and the West since the Cold War, with 24 people released in total, including the Wall Street Journal reporter Ivan Gershkovich. Kind of nailed it. Just kind of. It was nailed it for me. All right. At least 10 Americans remain in prison in Russia. They include Gordon Black, a U.S. Army staff sergeant who flew to Vladivostok to see his girlfriend and was then accused of stealing from her. Robert Woodland, who was adopted from Russia as a child and was working as an English teacher when he was convicted of drug offenses. Fucking crazy shit, man. Oh, is that it? That's the end of the article right there.
Russia's
don't want to wrap it up,
no? Marijuana, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're getting charged with like trafficking and stuff, so they're getting like 10-year sentences. It's not like
That's stupid.
slap on the wrist.
Wow.
But it does sound like that's what they're doing. They're using them as leverage.
The crazy thing is, like this is, we hear this a lot based on like these type of things, cannabis, getting picked up with cannabis, but like this shit happens all the time in the background that nobody sees.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit, man. Everywhere. It's not just Russia, and it's everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other PSA of the day is don't travel with weed if you're going to a place where it's illegal.
That's right, man.
Don't be dumb, man.
Just don't bring it with you, because you could be facing 14 years in a Russian prison. That's not.
Or depending where you go, a death penalty. By the way, mother, you heading over to Singapore or something like that? Don't you dare take weed. Crazy.
Well, and I think no matter what place you go to, just as a tourist showing up and like breaking local laws, they're not going to
Right.
be pretty happy about that. They're going to be like, "Fuck you, you're disrespecting our."
Unless you come to the
Whatever.
UK, you can do whatever the fuck you like here.
Right.
Jesus.
Different story there, but
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can, you can
that's
even bring
right.
your own knife.
That's right.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna need some soap on a rope in Russia, aren't you?
Damn. Yeah, thanks, Billy,
Oh
for
my
your.
God.
I was going to ask you what you think about the article there,
insightful
but
input.
that's it. Nailed it there, bro. But yeah, what you think about this one, Billy?
You got to just be thick as fuck in you to take shit to Russia, as far I'm concerned. Even if it is medical or not, it's like, are you stupid? So no sympathy. I'm sorry, but like,
Yeah.
it's Russia. It's a long list of years and years and years of doing this with prisoners. It's like, don't blame Russia, blame yourself for breaking their laws. It's like they're just
Mhm.
doing what Russia do, isn't it? It's like, so you can't blame Russia. They've always done it that way.
Very
You're
true.
stupid enough to do it, then that's how you're going to be punished. You know the punishment before you get there. It's
Mhm.
like in other places, you know, you could get a death penalty, so you can't complain if that happens. It's like, are you that
Right.
stupid? Like,
Yeah,
have a
And
bit
many
of
of these
like,
people too, like listed in this article, not all of them, but many of them had medical cannabis prescriptions, but they obviously don't recognize those
yeah, they
prescriptions
don't.
outside
No,
It's
the
like, come
US.
on,
So
it's
like,
like
it's not
your
global.
prescription is for your country. It's not
it's
fucking
not going to
global, is
protect
it?
you.
You cock, like fucking
Yeah,
hell.
it
We
won't.
got
It
the
won't
internet.
protect you if
Type
you
it
go
in the
to.
internet before you go, you fucking spastics. Like,
Yeah.
I
God.
wonder what other
Jesus.
types of prescriptions are not, legal there. You know, like, hey, if
Yeah,
Recreational.
you get
Mm.
prescribed oxys because you had a tooth pulled, are you going to get popped when you land? You know,
You might have to
to
be
go through
careful
your
with
stuff,
something like that. I don't know.
right?
Yeah.
That's a good. It's a
Google
good
it.
question
Google it
because
before
it's a
you go.
narcotic.
Check, man.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Just be careful. Why would you go anyway? I don't know. Maybe
Well,
he's going to
that's the
going to
other
Russia on
question.
business or something. I don't know. Visit family, maybe. I don't know, man.
Reporters, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. It's so crazy.
Right.
stupid anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's all the news we have there. There's just, public service announcement there. Don't go to Russia and with cannabis especially, and take care of your teeth.
You did learn nothing else from today.
That's right. Key points from this episode. I just find it crazy that people are still because there's been high profile cases. Did he not hear about Brittany Griner? Did this guy not
Mhm.
hear
Oh
about that?
yeah.
And just thought, no,
Well, we
I'll be
covered it on this
okay.
show, Mackie.
But no, I mean, did this guy not hear it? This guy
Oh,
who's just been
right.
Yeah.
arrested here.
Is he that secluded that he doesn't see these things? Like what?
The audacity.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Madness, man, madness. But some forum news. John, you want to talk about your forum news, or are you keeping it secret? What are you saying?
Which one are we talking about? The merch stuff?
The boots and cats, boots
Or
and
what are we
cats.
talking Boots and cats, boots and cats, boots and cats. I should make that a shirt for everybody. I should.
Ain't it cats and
I mean,
boots?
I mean, it's I guess forum news and what have you. I'm just trying to put together a store with some merch for Percy's and HOHG, and so people can have some hats and shirts and hoodies.
Yeah,
and
man,
stuff.
I have a
If
nice
anybody's
hat.
got any
I have a nice
ideas?
Percy's Grow Room hat,
Nice.
and it's blue and red. John sent me this. He sent me a fishing hat as well.
So you're
Okay.
you're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
some e-com,
Some what? What,
a little
Margaret?
e-com, a little e-commerce.
Yeah, little
Yeah, yeah.
e-commerce. Yeah, trying to keep it as economical as possible for everybody.
Yeah, man,
So
nice hat. I do like it. It's very nice.
yeah,
It's well
the
made.
hats are nice. My THCMN one is pretty badass too.
Mm-mm.
Blue and black. Ooh, ooh-wee.
Yes.
But yeah, if anybody has any ideas, some stuff they want to see, let me know.
Yeah, just contact John
Gotta-
over on Percy's or over in Discord as well, and he'll send you the
Mhm.
link to the
I put up-
site.
Put up a couple hats from Firetop's elephant from our whiteboard that day.
Oh yeah, remember that? That was fun.
Yeah, I kept that picture and it looks awesome, man.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so very cool. Any news from the Bite Me side of things there, Margaret?
No, not really. I'm trying to think. I
What do
I
you
should
know?
prepare better for this because every week you ask me the same question. I'm like, no, not really. No, I am reading an interesting book on the corporatization of cannabis in Canada, and it's been very eye-opening, and I'll probably want to talk about that when I'm done reading it.
Oh,
And
cool.
the authors agreed to come on my show, but
Nice.
Nice.
so I have to finish it first, though. So yeah. In the
So
meanwhile,
is it lean to like what you would think about it, or it's just eye opening in the fact of like how things happen in the?
It's a lot of things. A lot of it's actually looking at like public policy around
Mhm.
other industries like tobacco and alcohol and pharmaceuticals and
Right.
stuff, and how the cannabis, you know, legalization came in such a way that it could have been handled a lot better. Surprise, surprise. But
Yeah.
he's probably almost more advocating for decriminalization long before you do any kind of legalization, which I think is
Ah.
interesting because,
Okay.
you know, like there's a lot of different models of that where maybe you get a fine if you get caught with it, or maybe you don't penalize anybody at all in any way and just let people kind of do their own thing. Because he was also talking about like street level dealers. One of the reasons they're like, we should legalize is because they're like criminal organizations and it'll be safer supply. But from his research, neither of those things are true. And corporate cannabis doesn't necessarily mean that you have safer supply for people, because a lot of them have been found to be circumventing regulation and using
Mhm.
unregulated pesticides and all that kind of stuff. And as far as the criminal end on the like street dealer level, they're like, most of the people dealing weed in Canada were like just some guy or gal like selling weed. It wasn't like
Right.
criminal organizations involved in these big groups and networks. It was just some guy that you knew that you'd go buy weed from, which in my
Mhm.
experience, that checks out. So yeah, it's just it's been interesting.
Yeah.
That's right. Peeking behind the curtain.
I want to hear
You know
more
what I'm
about that.
saying?
It
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
interesting to me. I've
let us know
also
when the
heard
interview
too
goes
from
out.
other
Yeah.
people that like um the difference between the regulations for medical to recreational it was pretty big in the beginning too.
Right. Yeah, there were quite a few differences for sure. And I think they really rushed into a lot of the legalization because there was corporate interest and they wanted to make money. And
Mhm.
once
Right.
again, most corporations, not most, not all, but a lot of corporations put profits over people
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
time and
Mm-hmm.
time again. And that doesn't really, that also applies to the cannabis industry, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. So cool.
Why?
Let us
Yeah.
know when the
Support your
interview
local
goes out, Margaret.
stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we
Sorry, I
have
went on
some
a bit of
interview.
a tangent.
Yeah, Jesus, took up 10 minutes there. God. We have some interviews coming up as well. On the 25th of February, had Ed Rosenthal coming back to the show to come and chat some shit with us. On the 27th of February, we got Jorge Cervantes coming in. That's going to be a little bit earlier than usual. 4 hours earlier than the usual show time, so 5 p.m. GMT is when that will be. Because he's in Spain, living it up. So we might be able to ask him about some of these medical rules in Spain. On the 4th of March, we have Tom Rakes, who is the CEO of Seedsman Seeds. He's coming on so we can talk about their new strains that are being released and the grow-off that's going on over at purchasegrowroom.com as well. And then the 6th of March, we have Scotty Reel from the Do Grow Show coming to join us, which is somebody who
Nice.
hasn't been on the show before. So that's going to be an interesting one. Nice.
He's pretty hyped up, man, that guy.
Yeah, man, cool. Yeah. So there's going to be some good interviews. But with that, it's nearly 4:20 time, so let's go take a smoke break. Anything else to add?
Mm.
We all good?
Yeah, good.
Let's do it then. Smoke break. Let's see what random tangents we can come up with today. You know
Well,
what I'm
calm
saying?
down. Jesus.
Yeah. Margaret's on one. Go on. What are you saying, Margaret? You're on it today. Let's go.
Random tangents. I just talked at length about the corporatization of legal
Yeah,
cannabis in
Jesus.
Canada.
Don't get her going again.
Mm-mm.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can hear it in a voice there. She's getting angry again. Look.
I'm not. I'm getting pretty high. Is what's happening.
It just seems to be going on all over the world. You know, they only really legalize it when it can be corporatized, so they can continue to make ridiculous amounts of money off it.
Yeah, because I feel like decriminalization is sort of always an option.
Mm-mm. That's it. The legacy market works well. Maybe we should just stick with that. Fuck them. God damn.
Yeah, but then you got to worry so much, goddamn, all the time.
Tell me more about Percy's. Is that site free for stoners? No, it's £10 a month to join. £10, but we will waiver that fee for anybody who watches the show. So if you watch the show and you sign up to Percy's, we'll just know from IP addresses and cookies and stuff. So there's nothing else to add or enter. You sign up for free if you do on the show, and just head over there. That's right. That's right.
It's free for all FRCs.
That's right.
FRC.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Just acronyming the shit out of
That's
that.
right. It's going to be a new thing, man. We're going to be saying that a lot.
I feel like all the articles we've done that pertain to when they're talking about how much somebody uses all have that crazy number, right? Like
Yeah.
once a month.
You know, like once a month. What, you
Every
take a
other
couple of
week.
draws once a month?
Yeah, what the hell?
It's crazy talk, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where these people get their information from, man. Is using cannabis once a month often? Is that regular use?
I mean,
I don't know about that, man.
Or is it in the little survey, the people that are filling their own, like, look, I don't want to say I smoke every day, once a month. Thank you. It's like when you go to the doctor, how much do you drink? I have a couple every, maybe 2 on the weekend, once on Wednesday, Same concept.
And that's it. It never is it? The alcohol gets completely different treatment to what cannabis does. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. And it probably always will, which is nuts to me.
I wouldn't say always. I think people are waking up to it. Cannabis is going to be treated much differently in 20 or 30 years compared to what it is now, I think. Just maybe, hopefully. I live in a little bit of hope. It's just not going to happen quickly.
Yeah, the conversation around alcohol has changed a lot in the last few years. I would say for sure.
And it's good to see the rise of these cannabis drinks because people are going to head towards those cannabis drinks and step away from alcohol, which we've seen in some of the news articles we've covered.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
good to
here
see,
for
man.
it. Yeah,
I'd love to try some, but then they're going to be sugary as well. They're going to have all that extra sugar in it, shit. And at least with beer, it's like there's only like 4 ingredients in beer, and one of those ingredients is water.
You can get lots of drinks without sugar, though.
Yeah, but they say that, but it's like sugar free. Here's some aspartame instead. And I don't want that either. That's how I see it.
Looking at mine right now.
Aspartame. Yeah, what are you saying, Billy? Quiet in the background there.
Yeah, I'm just smoking away, chilling out.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly go grab a beverage.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be back as well. We're just going to leave you and John together here. Yeah, keep it clean.
Good luck.
Yeah, back in a minute.
So, John, it's the merch from a company and they print it as you order, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's print on demand. It's print on demand right now. So
yeah,
I just make the stuff and it runs through the store. And well, I don't make the stuff. I design up the stuff and decide what we're gonna sell and put it up there. Yeah. I mean, it's
Bog
easier
standard.
now. On a side note of that, I'm on another venture too because I'm gonna be doing a hats and shirts business actually here. So I'm gonna be making some stuff. Like you're kind of limited on those print on demand stores.
Yeah.
Where there's there's just one it's you're limited to their apparel, right? Like whatever they have. It's not like they have everything. It's just here's what we have, here's what you can make. And then the other part of it is like you're kind of limited to one where you can put something like maybe you want to mix and match something, like something embroidered with something printed or whatnot. So it's I would like to be able to offer other things too, and I'll do that later once we get going, but everything I've come across so far there has been pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I like embroidered stuff. That's pretty cool.
And that gets spendy. Like I went and designed up one through them to do like a full front embroidery, and that's where you get into paying, $60, $70 for a hoodie.
Yeah, but that's a full front embroider though. That's so you want a smaller logo when you're embroidering.
Right. Yeah. And it keeps it so like the full front ones, like it makes it stiff then, right? Too. Like if you have a full front embroidery, then it doesn't flow as good. But some people like it. So yeah. No, it's good. The hats are what I really like.
Yeah, the hats are better.
These like baseball
Mhm.
caps that you're doing, or are you doing different types of hats?
Right now I've got bucket hats and baseball type hats.
Yeah.
Most of them are snapbacks with flat bills, but I can make all kinds
What
of them.
about beanies?
Beanies is
Tubes.
next. Yeah,
Tubes?
you guys call them toots. Yeah, that's funny. I just watched a video about this the other day. U.S. to Canada, what you call things, and that was one
Yeah.
of them. But yeah, beanies is another thing, man. I live in Minnesota. It's goddamn cold here. I wear a
Yeah.
beanie probably 7 months of the year.
Right.
So yeah, so that's got to come too. The only problem is like I have a hard time with beanies because I I don't like beanies with a cuff on them,
Oh, you
right?
don't?
No, I
I
like a
do
beanie
enjoy a
that
cuff.
comes down and all the way down it just covers my ears, and then if I want to hear stuff and not have my ears so hot, then I can flip it up, right? So it fits my head better. I like those, but you can't really put an embroidery
Yeah.
design on those kind because then it rubs your forehead all the damn
Right.
time.
There's a
So,
lot to consider when it comes to a good toque or beanie, I will say, because a lot of
hmm
things come into play, like the fabric, it can't be too tight on your head, like the cuff, no
yep,
cuff, do you have a pom-pom on top? Like there's so many
yep,
things to think about.
yep, yep. And I mean, everybody likes different kinds of stuff. Do you want a soft one that lays? Like the women like to wear a beanie that sometimes will lay back. You know what I mean? Kind of.
A little slouchier.
Yeah, kind of like
Mhm.
I don't know what you would call it. Kind of like an in between a a tall beanie and a beret almost. You know what I mean?
I
So
think
that
so.
it just it's not so stiff and like lays with your head instead of
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's there's so many options.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's kind of the nice thing about doing a print on demand service is that then I don't have to get 20 of every size made and then ship them out to everybody.
Yeah.
I can just
Right.
say, here's the
Yeah.
design, pick your size, your color, and it gets sent out to you, you know.
Yeah, I do
You'd be
like that model.
amazed how many people do that. It's it's
A
crazy.
fuck ton. There's all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
companies that do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I don't know if like everybody used to do the screen printing, right? Because that was the cheapest way to make a shirt, like
Hmm.
especially if you're doing like organization stuff or something. But now they got that direct to garment where you put the shirt in the printer and it friggin' prints on the shirt and it's in full color, man.
Mm.
Like that
Right.
shit is crazy.
I've seen people with those. They
Crazy.
got
Yeah.
like a picture of their dog printed on their t-shirt, and then they got a t-shirt for their dog with a picture of them printed on
Right.
it.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
People are
does that
strange,
also
man.
mean too, you don't need to do like the setup fees? Like, you know how when you used to like
Hmm.
go to a place and get stuff printed, they'd
Yep.
charge you a fee to set up their machines and stuff, and you don't have to do any of that either.
Yeah.
hmm So like all the print on demand ones, anything that's embroidered, you have to pay that digitizing or setup fee the first time.
Mm.
So as soon
Hmm.
as you order one, it's paid for and then you don't have to do it again. But
Right.
anything you print, like doesn't have to be. So it's come a long ways. It's really crazy, man.
Yeah,
Mm.
it really is. So do you have like a website yet or something? I know I
No,
love to.
so there's a right now I'm just running it out of the so they give you what's called their quick store that you push all your products to and it's just
Right.
under their, website or whatever. So it'll all be theirs and I'm gonna set up mine a little later. But the problem is I can't put custom stuff on theirs. I can push their stuff to mine if I set it up. But the problem there is then I have to handle all the taxes, all the shipping,
Mm.
like, and that is just messy, man. Whereas there through them, you don't have to deal with it. They handle all of that stuff.
But you can't do the custom stuff, like the high end homegrown stuff?
No, no, no. What I mean is like I can't. Oh, you might not have been here for this. So I'm also doing this as my own business venture here locally,
Oh, I see.
right? So I have an embroidery machine coming.
Right.
Next will probably be either a DTF or a DTG printer.
Oh, cool.
But like if I were to make stuff here, like kind of as a small run or something to sell, I can't put it on theirs
Yeah, I see what you're
exactly how I
saying.
have it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's kind of the thing. So
Pros and cons.
there's yeah, pros and cons to both ways of doing it. But it's mostly the tax thing that bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Damn.
because it's all changed, right? Like in the US, it used to be if you had a storefront, let's use Minnesota for example. If you had a storefront in Minnesota, anybody you sold to in Minnesota or shipped to in Minnesota, you had to charge tax. Anywhere else, nothing, nada. You didn't deal with it at all.
Wow.
You didn't have to collect any tax at all. But now that's all changed, and all the other states want their sales tax when you sell something to
Right.
them. So then you have to keep all that separate and send all these states the individual tax. Like, it's mental.
And that's not even shipping like outside of the country either.
Right. And these guys will ship outside of the country too
Right.
and do all that
Yeah.
stuff. So, yeah. So I'm not
Madness,
worried
man.
about that part.
But yeah,
Mhm.
interesting. We got to move on to the grow guides though. I
Yeah,
think
go. Get after it.
Everybody needs to go out and check out those hats and shit. Get themselves some shit, man. Know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Sounds good. What are you saying, Billy? Are you back? Are you ready for the grow guides?
Yeah, man, I'm all good.
So you get to listen to Billy talk about living soil.
Ready to go.
Let's go for the grow guides.
Oh, that's so true.
That was my
Nice
mic
professional
vibrating.
vibration.
Yeah, did you hear that?
So bad.
Yes.
It would have been fine if you hadn't said oops.
But you know, the smoke break's finished, and now I'll decide to smoke. This is me being nonconformist again. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about this week, right? We are talking about, in my opinion,
Yep.
the best grow medium there is for cannabis. Quite
Living
possibly
soil.
the best. Quite possibly the best. No, we did the whole living soil thing. It's just, I think Coco is so easy to use, so easy to deal with, so easy to keep happy plants constantly when you're using Coco. That's how it's always been for me. I know living soil is good, but yet there's some learning curves to that, which, you know, if you have problems, it's difficult to fix. Coco just makes everything so easy, and it's not just Coco. There's other mediums as well, like rock wool and clay pellets and all these different things, which we'll get to as we move through the episode. But we're going to predominantly talk about Coco Coir here. That's the plan. Have you grown Coco before, Margaret?
Once before, and it didn't really go that well. Living
Oh,
soil.
no. Oh, no. Well, why not? Are you dropping that in there as well now? Fuck.
Yeah.
Now I'm scared to ask John. What is it?
I'm gonna make a share. No, I love Coco. But I've been using Pro Mix lately, which is peat. So
Right. Just peat on its own.
it's it's mostly peat, I think. It's got a little
Alright.
bit of like perlite, I think, in it,
All right.
you know, to give it a little bit of fluff, but yeah, mostly peat.
Have you ever grown in Coco, Billy?
I haven't, but I helped someone else to. So I told them what to do with it.
Right.
They done most of it, but obviously I know what to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A and B basically.
A and B, bit of CalMag,
Yep.
and usually
That's
good to go from there. Yeah, it's
Pretty
pretty
much.
easy. It's considered the hydroponic medium, everybody. So Coco is considered hydroponics, you know, and this is the same for rockwool and other mediums like that as well. So bear that in mind when you are growing. It might look a little bit like soil, but it's not soil. It's a hydroponic medium, and you have to adjust your pH accordingly when you're growing in hydro. As we said last week, it'll be between 5.8 and 6.2. It's the best range to have it in. So bear that in mind when you grow. When I first moved to Coco, I was doing the DWC, as I've said. You know, I started out in DWC, but all that vibrating from the air stones, it was like, got to do something with that. Can't be asked to keep changing the reservoir. Got to try some soil. So I went out and I bought some soil, and I was just having problems, man. I was like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? And then I asked on the forum, because this was before we even built Percy's. I asked on a forum, I was like, man, I'm having problems with my plants here. They're like, what's the soil called? I was like, it's called Can a Coco Professional. And they're like, yeah, that's not fucking soil, mate. That's Coco. It's different. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then I started treating it as you're supposed to treat Coco. And yeah, the plant just was straight back to normal, very happy, very healthy, and it's the way I prefer to grow now. I've tried living soil, I've tried fucking everything, but Coco has just always been so easy and straightforward for me. It's
Good to you.
you just you know, as long as you got the pH right and you can monitor the EC, and that's not even necessary, But it's just so easy to keep a happy and healthy plant when you're growing cocoa. You can deliver to it exactly what it needs, and it gets loads of air, it gets loads of water, loads of nutrition. You can feed it numerous times a day if you want to. There's so many good things when it comes to growing in cocoa, and this is why so many people do it. From what I see, well, from back in the day, it's not necessarily now, because I've noticed more people are growing in living soil now than ever. All the time people are growing in living soil. But when it comes to hydro, now I find the most common version of hydroponic you see people doing is growing in cocoa. And
so, do you grow? What do you use for a pot? Are you using fabric or are you using plastic?
they're called air pots, I think, right? The plastic ones with the spikes on it, got the holes all over it. They're ones. That's what I use. Just 12 liters as well, nothing massive. Just four of those.
I'm a fabric pot guy myself.
Yeah, I used to, but I got fucking pulled into the old. You gotta try these air pots, and they look cool as fuck too. Yeah, they're good, man. They're good, and they're reusable. I mean, I've had the same 7 air pots. I've got 7 of them. I only ever use 4 at a time. But I've got 7 of them, and I've had them for fucking 8 years now or something like that. Maybe 8 to 10 years. I've had them for a long time and just reuse them. So it's worth it. They're a little bit more expensive than the fabric parts, of course, but they're reusable. And so are the fabric parts. But I was finding with the fabric parts, if you don't keep the air flowing around them, you can get mold grow at the bottom of them. It's not like a bud rot kind of mold. It's a little bit different, but still mold all the same. You don't want it in your grow tent. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I stopped using them and went over to the air pots instead, and they're just fucking great, man. And this is another thing with cocoa. You don't need huge pots when you're growing in cocoa either. If you're growing, throughout the whole grow guides, we sort of work off the baseline of a 4 foot by 4 foot grow tent. That's 1.2 meters by 1.2 meters with 4 plants in it. And if you're growing in cocoa with 4 plants, the way which we would suggest, then you only need 12 litre pots ish, 15 litre pots maximum when you're growing in cocoa in a tent that size. If you go for that size to set up, and you're getting 4 or 5 ounce per plant off that, maybe even more. It just works really well. You don't need huge pots. Like if you're doing the living soil, like we explained, you're looking minimum 35 litres per pot. Anything up to 60 litres would be good per pot when you're growing in living soil. So and that's your whole collective medium when you're looking at growing in cocoa with 4 plants. You know what I mean? So this is another good thing about cocoa, is you don't need huge pots. And another thing when it comes to growing in soil as well, one of the problems that you'll find coming up more than others is overwatering, because it takes practice for people to get used to the right watering method for different kinds of soil. So there's a learning curve there. Cocoa, don't give a shit. Water it. You know what I mean? And the water washes through it. There's never too much water in there. It's always a nice medium. So that whole problem is kind of removed when you're growing in cocoa. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, what is Coco Coir is the question they have here. John, you want to talk about what Coco Coir is?
Well, so cocoa is just it's fibers made from coconut husks. I don't exactly know what the coir is. Is that just the way that they do it, or whatnot? But it's popular because it provides excellent aeration, retains moisture well, and promotes rapid root growth while being a natural medium. Meaning growers have neutral. I'm sorry. Well, it's natural too, is it not?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
But it's processed a bit, because what they'll do is they get the shell of the coconut, not the shell, not the hard thing, but that you all seen Castaway.
The outside.
You know Castaway where? Sorry, Margaret.
The fuzzy stuff off the coconut.
Well, the coconuts come in like a casing, like the brown coconut thing. That's inside another thing on the outside of it, and that's coconut husk. It's like a pistachio. You know when you got a pistachio nut, you got the shell, and then on the inside you got the actual nut. Similar to that. It's like there's an outside casing, and then inside is the coconut, which is the actual nut. And that outside casing, that is the husk. And they soak this shit in salt water for like 6 months or something like that. Maybe they let it dry and then soak it. I don't know. I'm not sure the exact process of creating it, but that's what it is, Right. And they'll get that stuff up, break it up, and then they'll use that for the grow medium, which if you're getting certain kinds of cocoa as well from, if you're getting like a brick, because you can get it as a solid brick from Amazon, and then it can be really salty. It needs to be treated before you use it, and you should just really go out and just buy a bag of cocoa from Canna. Canna do good cocoa. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used last time when I tried the cocoa. I had a brick of it.
Right.
And it's a pain in the ass because I ended up with way more cocoa coir than I actually needed. And then, like, what do you do with the rest of it? I mean, I don't remember what I
Better to
did.
have too much than not enough.
Yep.
True. But it was a lot. Like I could see why buying a bag of the crumbled up stuff already would be way easier.
But it's just already been treated, because the thing is, you have to do this thing with cocoa called buffering it, where it likes to pull the calcium out of your nutrient solution, and instead of the plants getting it, it will be absorbed into the cocoa instead, so it leaches out, and so your plant doesn't get the amount of calcium it's supposed to be getting, because the cocoa is essentially stealing it instead. It's absorbing it before the plants get to it. So you would wash out the cocoa to get rid of any built-up salts in it in the first place, and then you'd leave it sitting for like 24 hours. We got a specific guide over on percysgrowroom.com about buffering cocoa, but you'd pretty much just let it sit in a bucket of high calcium nutrients. So you mix up some nutrients, add a shitload of CalMag to it, and then just let all the cocoa sit in it for 24 hours, so it can absorb the calcium before you start putting plants in it. So that's just all a massive pain in the ass. Like, what the fuck you want to do that for? Just go get a bag of cocoa.
It is a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what, $20 for a 50-liter bag? So just what would you say, John? Because I don't. For me in the UK, it's like £15, like between 13 and £15 for a 50-liter bag.
I always did the bricks because I was doing so many pots, and it was just easier. You know what I mean? Like, so I'd sit here with the totes, and I'd go through cleaning it and buffering and buffering and buffering. Yeah. So like, I've never bought the bagged stuff before, and then. Before I switched to the peat stuff is when I started looking into that, and I'm like, well, Jesus, that's kind of spendy for how much I was going to grow. And so I went to the Pro Mix, because I found my cousin has a greenhouse, so he gets it by the pallets.
Right.
So I just buy it from him,
Is it? And as long as it's buffered properly before it gets used, then it'll do just fine.
You just got to take a little extra care when you're using the bricks. Not saying don't do it, just if you do have to do it, you got to go through that process. My preference was and because it's easily available to me, I can go to the grow shop, which is 20 minutes away from me, even if there's bad traffic. 20 minutes, so it's easy for me to get bags of cocoa. I can just go shop and pick them up. If you don't have that same privilege, then you might have to go for the bricks, and then you're just going to have to buffer it, which it's not a massive issue. It's easy enough to do. So check out the guide over on percysgrowroom.com for buffering cocoa if you need to do that. But if that's the option you have, that's the option you have. Maybe you'll prefer that way. Maybe it's cheaper. I do use the bricks, but when I'm growing mushrooms, what I mean? So because it doesn't bother them, or what?
Just because the guides I've seen say use this cocoa brick with this much water and this much gypsum. I'm like, okay. This much vermiculite, this much gypsum, this much cocoa. Use this brick with this, and it's like, okay, I'll just use a brick, just because I'm not going to get my bag of cocoa and estimate how much I'm supposed to use, because it's not a compressed brick. Because them bricks, they fucking expand, man. Once you add water to those, you're looking at 3 or 4 times the amount of cocoa that you had before water was added to it.
Oh yeah, they're super compressed when you get them, and then you put them in the water. It's like those little foam things you put in water that expand. The little.
Yeah, from back in the day.
Yeah.
Little foam animals and stuff.
Remember little aliens? Remember them?
Yeah.
And people used to say, if you leave it in water for ages, it has a baby. Remember those ones? And they never did. Them aliens in the eggs, you remember them?
Bastards.
Are you talking about those? What were those called?
Fuck. Oh no. People can't remember them.
Oh no.
No, just toys. They're like just little toys that was in some kind of ooze. Little alien models, and then you leave them sitting in water, and like overnight they'll double their size because they're absorbing all the water.
Yeah.
They were interesting toys, man. Jesus.
Sorry, everybody.
Simple
Sorry.
times.
Random tangent, but you all know what we're talking about. You know those toys. Good times, man. Good times.
Yeah. So the cocoa choir expands like one of those toys from our youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a horrible analogy. I'm really sorry
No,
about
it was
Nostalgic. I
perfectly.
understood
It
it.
was perfect.
Yeah, I understood it.
We all know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like one of them dinosaurs. Yeah, I remember those
Yes.
dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It definitely had those.
Billy, you,
Yeah.
you ain't said anything for a while. You just want to quickly drop in living soil there, and then we'll carry on.
Yeah, man, living soul.
Living soil. Living soil. Beautiful. Yeah, so the cocoa coir is that husk on the outside of the coconut shell, and it's treated in a specific way. And using it as a grow medium, there's loads of good benefits to it. It's like we said, you can water the fuck out of it, and it's very difficult to overwater a plant that's been grown in cocoa, right? You get great control of the nutrients. You can get your nutrient solution. We'll cover an episode specifically on how EC works very soon. But you mix up your nutrient solution, for example, and you'll say it's at 1.0 EC, and then you're going to water your plants in cocoa with the 1.0 EC. Do that for a few days, and then you can start monitoring the runoff after that. And if it's below if it's below 1.0, say it's coming out at 0.8 instead, then you might want to feed your plant a little bit more, because it's the plant's eating more than you're giving it. And if it's a little bit over that, say 1.2 instead of 1.0, then you're giving the plant a little bit too much, so you can reduce the feed a bit. And it's just that you can find real nice balance, and that's putting it basic. We'll get into more detail as we go into a different episode about it, because it gets a bit complex with EC. But it's essentially like that. So you can monitor if the plant's eating too much or not getting enough, and try and keep a good balance of the nutrients as you are feeding them. So damn, 1.0 is tap. 1.2, wow, you what are you drinking, bro? Are you drinking sand in that water or something? What the fuck? Jesus, get an RO filter. Mine is like 0.14 or something crazy. My tap water is very clean. Very lucky. But yeah, so there's that where you can keep control of shit. And of course, it's not soil, so you're not going to have these soil-borne pests and diseases. Well, you say not going to have them, you're just far less likely to have them than being in soil. Yeah. Who's you going to say something there, John?
No, I was agreeing with you. This is the bugs. And,
that's right, man. Easy to avoid.
I don't like it.
And just good drainage. So, yeah, you don't get the whole overwatering thing. So, it grows faster because it gets more. There's so many good things to cocoa. So many good things. But there's one bad thing that you need to consider. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. But it is going to take a little bit more treatment. Cocoa cannot dry out. When you are growing in soil, you will do this wet and dry cycle where it would be, you water it and then you leave it a few days for the soil to dry out a bit before you water it again. That's not how cocoa works. If cocoa gets dry, something called an EC spike happens. So essentially, the plant's drinking water and it's also evaporating out of the cocoa. And as it evaporates, the salts, the nutrients are being left behind, and that's raising the EC. So, like I said, you put it in at, say, 1.0. If the water's evaporating, and the EC is going to stay behind, and it's going to be 1.2, 1.4, 1.5, 6, 7, and it's going to keep climbing. And if it gets too high, you're going to see, the salt burn on the plant's pH burn, nutrient burn and shit. So to prevent that from happening, to make sure that it's always balanced at the levels it's supposed to be at, then you want to keep it wet the whole time. You don't let cocoa dry out. It has to stay wet to prevent EC spikes like that. And also the pH changes when it starts to dry out as well. So it's just a good idea to keep it wet. So you have to water it at least once a day. And when you're watering it, you give it 10% runoff. So, if you put a litre in, then you want to get 900 milliliters stay in the plant, and then 100 milliliters to come out as runoff. You know what I mean? So just 10%, at least 10%, because that's going to wash out any of the old salts that are stored up in the cocoa from yesterday's feed. It's just going to wash them out, and fresh stuff gets into the roots. So you keep fresh food in there all the time. So at least once a day. Some people do it twice a day. Some people set up auto feeders and have it feed for 15 minutes every hour. So there's lots of different ways to do it. As long as the runoff has been taken away and you're not letting it sit in the runoff, then you're going to be fine. So lots of different ways to water when it comes to growing in cocoa. Like how often you want to do it. But I say at least once a day is the way you want to do it. Well, unless it's seedlings, then every other day you could possibly get away because there's not so much water's being used, But still, even then, it's only going to be a small pot when it's seedlings, so you might as well just fucking drop quarter of a litre in there or something, you know what I mean? Just a little something to keep it wet. Might as well.
Yep. Give her a little drink.
Man, yeah, I love growing in cocoa. It's so fucking easy. That's the only thing that pisses me off about it is not only having to water it every day, but collecting runoff. That's the pain in the ass,
Right.
collecting the fucking
That
runoff.
is.
God damn. So
So,
yeah,
so
bear that
bad.
in mind.
Do you do the like feed water?
No, it's just you
You
only
feed constantly?
constantly, and never give
Okay.
it just water unless you're flushing, and
Well, it
that's
would be,
flushing
I
because the
would say
salt build off,
water
isn't
with
it?
like CalMag in it, not just straight water, but
No,
like
because what
pH
happens if
CalMag
you do
water.
something like that, right? Because again, let's say
Mhm.
this EC, and it's just hypothetical that the EC being 1.0 here, everybody. It could be way higher than that. It could be 1.8. But whatever you're feeding the plant at. So let's just say it's 1.8 and 1.0. Sorry, let's say it's 1.0, and you've been feeding it that for a few weeks, and the plant's happy at that level, right? So it's got 1.0 EC in the medium, but also the liquid in the plant itself is also going to be at 1.0. This kind of balance happens, osmosis and all that shit, high concentration to low concentration. So then what happens if you flush it with just water is the salts are going to be pulled from the plant itself, the liquid in the plant itself, and start getting pulled into the medium to try and restore balance for that osmosis again. So it's 1.0 in the plant, but 0.2 in the medium. Then it's going to pull shit out of the plant and put it into the medium to try and find balance at like 1.6, 1.7. You know,
Right.
you know what I mean?
I-
0.6.
I only bring
0.7.
that up because like I wonder why they promote that on some of these liquid nutrients. Because when I started growing in cocoa, I kind of did that, right? Because I didn't know anything, so I
Well,
just was like, oh, well,
well
I'm
what
gonna
can
go
happen
ahead and
is
water twice
you can
or
get
feed
salt
twice.
buildup as well. This is where you need to monitor the
Mhm.
EC. Well, you don't need to, but you should monitor the EC. Keep a check on it. Because if it builds up too much, say if you be giving it the 1.0 the whole time, but then it's like, oh, the runoff is coming out at 1.5 now. What can I do? Then you
Right.
can give it a flush.
Yeah.
But I would say after you've flushed it to get rid of the excess salts in the cocoa, then just water it again or feed it again with the usual feed that you've been having, or the adjusted feed
Right.
to compensate for the salt buildup. But you can wash all the salts out to neutralize the medium again, and then put the shit back in it, so so it's at the EC that it's used to. But don't leave it sitting there like that unless you're flushing it. In my opinion, I know there's people who would feel different, but that it's just science makes sense, right? It's just the science makes sense with the osmosis and all that shit, and
Right.
EC spikes and
Yeah.
keeping it all balanced because the consistency is very important with cocoa. Keeping it at a certain level of moisture, at a certain EC and a certain pH, so the plant doesn't have to do anything. It knows what the soil, what the medium is going to be like, where the roots are. It knows what EC it's going to be. It knows what pH it is. It doesn't have to adjust anything. So it just does its thing and eats like fuck. Grows very big. And this is cocoa, right? So we've been discussing cocoa so far, but there are other soilless mediums as well, because cocoa is known as a soilless medium, which is hydroponics. But Margaret, you said that you've grown in some other soilless mediums in the past, right?
I Rockwell. I did
Yeah.
Rockwell doing the hydro. Yeah.
And
Which
was that
I've learned since. I don't know if it's that good. I don't know if it's I
well,
forget what
it
it's made
worked.
of.
Did it work? Did you get plants out at the end of it?
It did, yeah.
There we go. It's
Yeah.
fucking fine.
Okay. Boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as it works, man. Whatever.
But what is actually Rockwell?
Well, it's
Sterile
fiberglass.
fibrous
It's like
material.
it's a rock that's been crumbled up and turned into fiber, right? Not crumbled up essentially. Is it heated up and then like how cotton
know how
candy
they
is made?
Yeah,
How
it's
they
Yeah.
like
heat up the
spun up,
sugar and
kinda
then
like
spun up like that. Yeah, similar to that,
yeah.
Huh.
but done with a rock
I
instead of
think.
sugar. I think, yeah. Fuck knows. But,
Allegedly.
I mean, it's good to grow in Rockwell if you're gonna do like a DWC or something NFT underneath. Like the Rockwell would be the first thing, because it's not gonna fall apart. You wouldn't want to use cocoa in one of those netted pots, for example, because it's just all gonna fall through and land in the reservoir and shit. When that's not gonna happen in Rockwell. There's this other shit as well called perlite. Some people have grown in full perlite before, like 100% perlite, and that's just not going to hold on to any water at all.
Yeah,
Cocoa
like
will
how do you
hold
do
on
that?
to
Are you
some.
doing a
But
like
you'd be feeding it every 15 minutes or something, just watering it constantly.
Oh yeah,
Probably
like
constantly.
just
Yeah.
constantly.
Seems
You must have
crazy.
to have like a recirc or something on that
Yeah, yeah,
because you're running through like that. That's crazy.
Is
yeah.
there? Why would anybody want to do that?
I don't know.
Like, is there a reason for?
It's just because
Like,
it's got
Mm.
lots of good drainage. You know,
Mm.
the water's just going to run straight past the roots
Right.
and then be recirculated to wherever it needs to be. Yeah, Twisted in the chat there, he's just said
Yeah.
I use perlite only, and I've seen him do that before as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, you just have to make sure you got auto feeders set up like so. Yeah, it gets watered constantly because it's going to dry out very quickly. It doesn't hold on to the moisture
Right.
like cocoa does, for example. And
Mm-hmm.
then you've got vermiculite. Anybody use vermiculite?
No.
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 No, I've only ever used
I think
it
I
to
got
grow
some in my
mushrooms.
attic.
But it's used to maintain moisture, to hold moisture in. You know, like the water's going to wash straight through perlite, go straight in the top, straight out the bottom. But the vermiculite's going to hold on to it more. So some people use that as a hydroponic medium. I've never used it. I don't know of anybody who has used 100% vermiculite. Never seen it done. I know it's added to some soils sometimes to increase the water retention. But yeah, I've never used it myself. And of course, rockwool, as Margaret mentioned, then peat moss. And you've used peat moss, right, John?
Yep. Yep.
What's that like?
I like it. It's good stuff. It does hold more than cocoa does, though. You know, I mean, but it's essentially the same thing. Like you can water the hell out of that too.
Mm-hmm. But in the banning the
and
use of
like,
it now, because I see loads of soils that are like peat free.
yeah, it's because of the way it's. I don't know if you want to call it mined or what. You know,
Yeah,
it
harvested or something.
takes
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, harvested. Yeah.
Because these things have grown in
Crazy.
Ireland for a long time or something in peat moss bogs,
Mhm.
and they get
It
harvested
does
from
get
there.
that. I don't know if I never really had this problem with cocoa, but like peat, it's very like hydrophobic if you let it get too dry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got to be careful for that. So you want to keep it damp, just like cocoa.
And then there's clay pellets as well, or clay pebbles is what they're sometimes called. I think they're called hydroton as well. Is that correct? I think you guys over in the States know it as a hydroton.
Yep.
Just these little orange balls that are made out of clay. And people use that as well. You know, and it's similar to perlite, I suppose, but the balls are much bigger than what perlites are.
Yeah.
Perlite doesn't have massive balls like clay pellets. You know what I'm saying, Billy?
Nothing out of Billy. Nothing out of Billy.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I've found there's always problems with these. They need rinsing properly, good clean on them, and then they need to be stored in some water for a while to make sure the pH is at the correct range, because seedlings just don't like them. And they would tend to be used for the netted pots above DWC. You know, that's what I use them for. Or NFT or of mediums like that, like where there's going to be flood and drain, so some way to help suspend the top part of the roots where the bottom part of the roots can hang down into another reservoir to get water, or aeroponics, or whatever's going to happen. So yeah, and that's considered a soilless medium as well. But out of all of those, in my opinion, of course it depends on which circumstances you're in, but cocoa is going to be the best soilless medium. That's what most people use. But if you're looking at growing in DWC, you're going to start off in clay pellets. That would be your best option, or maybe even rockwool, then into clay pellets, and then to DWC. That's how it tends to go. And then perlite is usually mixed. Some people like to mix perlite with cocoa, like they'd add 70% cocoa, 30% perlite, and give that a good mix up, and that apparently helps with the drainage and all that shit. But in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I just like cocoa straight up as it is. I don't add any perlite to it or anything like that. Cocoa with its water retention and its drainage is perfect as it is. I don't need to add anything else to it. That doesn't mean you don't have to. I see loads of people doing it and they love it because that's their way of doing it. But for me, you know, my way of going swimming with the cat is to not have any perlite. That's just the way it is. Because it's dusty as well. I've used it before.
It is.
And
pretty
as I'm
dusty.
pouring it from the bag into the cocoa, it's just like there's dust all over the place. And you know, this is back in the day when I was young, and you know, you don't care about your house so much when you're like, oh fuck it, it's just a little bit of dust. But now I'd be like, Jesus, quick, get my mask. You don't want to breathe that shit in, all right? You don't want to breathe that nasty shit in. So if you can avoid it, then do avoid it. You don't want to breathe in all that dust. So you spare that in mind with perlite. Yeah, so we spoke briefly about preparing cocoa before planting. What do you do to prepare your cocoa? Because you said you're in bricks there, John. Is there anything you do before you put a seed in it?
I basically did the same thing you're talking about. You know, I in the bricks, I would take them and I'd rehydrate them, I guess, you know, and then I would let that sit for a little while, dry out, and then I would take and I would mix up, you know, a little bit of CalMag and pH water, and then I would flush it a couple times and then let it sit again, and then I'd get ready to use it. But I was making it in like totes, like a bunch of totes at a time.
Nice.
And then I used perlite, so I would always mix mine like 30% perlite.
Okay. You know, whatever works best,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But I never had a problem without the perlite. It's just I preferred kind of to use a little bit of perlite.
The way I like to prepare my cocoa, I get it out the bag because I'll be using the bag. That's how I roll, using bags of cocoa. I'll put it in like, say, a 500 milliliter pot, just like half a liter, nothing major. That's where my seedlings are gonna go. And I'd put the cocoa in it, and then I'd water the cocoa as if there was plants in it. You know, as if there was already seedlings in it. You know, like I'd mix up a 0.8 EC solution of A and B with some CalMag, pH at 5.8, and I'd water it. And I'd wait for the water to settle, get some runoff, let it sit, and then I'd water it again, just to wash out any shit that isn't supposed to be there. And then it's ready for me to plant seeds in, because I like that shit to be in there. So when that root comes out, it's already in contact with nutrients in the medium, so it knows it can just, you know, spread out. And it works so well for me when I do it like that.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do. You don't have to worry too much about shocking the roots because it's too strong or there not being enough food. You know, it's just a nice, easy way to start. And you give it a week or so, and the roots are fully filled apart that size. Then you can put it into the next one. But for me to prepare my cocoa, I'd just treat it as if there was already a plant in it, because there's going to be a plant in it, and I don't want it getting shocked when it comes out, you know. So and that works fucking fine for me all the time. I wouldn't water it once the seed's in it. I wouldn't water it. I'd have the plastic cup over the top to lock in the humidity, but I wouldn't water it for like 3 days. You know, and I know I say you're gonna keep watering it and all that shit, but I just don't want to disturb the seed, because that's happened to me a few times where I've watered the cocoa, the water hasn't gone through quick enough, and you see the seed just float up to the surface, and there'll be a little taproot coming out of it, and it's like disturbing the taproot at that stage. It can kill the seed completely, and then you have to start all over again from that point. So just to prevent that whole thing, I'd usually wait 3 days, maybe 4 days, until I see a shoot coming out, and then I know that I can water it gently, and I'd water around the outside, nowhere near the seed, because you don't want that seed to float, because if it does float, you damage the taproot, and it probably won't go any further than that. I've found that it just kills the fucking seed so quickly just by doing that.
That is so disappointing when you see that happen. Seed float to the top. You're like,
yeah, it's like, fuck, no, please.
Oh my God. You know? Yeah, that's not good.
But this is one of the things with the whole growing in cocoa, you know, sometimes that happens, man. Cocoa's very light. So even if the seed's buried like half a centimeter deep, it can just pop up again. If there's too much water, it'll float out. And it could cause damage. So just bear that in mind as well in the early days there. But then there's watering. Yeah, and as we mentioned, John, how often do you water your plants, and how much and all that shit? What's the plan with you? What's your watering cycle?
When I was just growing in cocoa in pots, it was usually in the beginning, it was probably once a day, like during veg,
right? And
maybe probably 2 times during flower, you know. But it really depended on the plant too, though, man. Like some plants just they're wanting to drink, and you might be in there 3-4 times a day in flower.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's it. Yeah,
but usually once, maybe twice a day in veg, though. Like,
yeah, I would only ever do mine once a day. Well, in the early days, I might just, you know, if I'm around, I might do it twice a day. But I do it by hand. I don't have any auto feeders or anything like that. It'll be me and a jug of water, and you know, well, a bucket of water with a jug in it. Well, just feeding all the fucking plants. Then you got to get the runoff. So I've only ever done it once a day, sometimes twice if I was just around to do that shit anyway. And you notice the difference in growth. Like if you're watering twice a day, it grows so much faster. You know, so if you can do more times, then do so. But collecting the runoff and shit is a pain in the ass. But if you're going to be recirculating that shit into an auto feeder, yeah, man, water every hour. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, and
No.
you can for, just that little bit, run it that
Mhm.
way. That's
And there's-
that's the hard thing, is setting up that research for that, I think.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But in other
Green
hydroponic
buckets.
mediums, like the DWC or the flood and drain, where if equipment breaks, then you could look at serious problems with your plants after 24 hours. That's not the same with cocoa. It wouldn't be happy because it hasn't been fed for a day, but there's more of a buffer and a margin for error there in case something does go wrong. And the plants ain't going to die after 24 hours. It can easily last a few days. It won't be happy, but still, it's it will survive, and it will be easily fixable when you get back to watering it as much as it needs to be watered again. So, but if you're in fucking the Mister one, what's that one again? Fuck, not the ebb and
Aeroponics?
flow. Yeah, but aeroponics is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. If your
Mhm.
pump breaks in aeroponics and the roots dry out after 24 hours, you're not fixing that. That's gone.
Yeah.
So another good reason
mean,
to
and
try cocoa.
That's kind of in the beginning, I think, because once the plant's grown so much, the roots are hanging into the bottom water anyway.
Yeah.
So then you got a little bit of time, because they're drinking from way down there.
Mm-hmm. At least they're getting something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the whole pH, right? Because you mix up your nutrient solution and you've got to feed that to the plant. You've got to water the plants with this. And you can't just use ordinary water. It needs to be at the correct pH, because if the pH is not correct, then the plants are not going to be able to absorb the nutrients that are available to them, right? Even if the nutrients are in the nutrient solution and you got a good EC and all that, if the pH isn't correct, it's not going to be able to absorb those nutrients. So this is something you have to be very careful of when you go in hydroponics, not just cocoa. This is a whole hydroponic thing. So you have to keep the pH between 5.8 and 6.2 is what is usually preferred. When the plants go into flower, people might keep it a little bit more acidic and work around 6.2, like 5.8 in veg, 6.2 in flower, and the plants seem to be fine. Just swinging between those two pHs there, and they'll be happy between that. If it goes outside of those ranges, then it won't be able to get access to the nutrients that are available to it, and the problems can arise. So you have to keep that in check. That's an important thing.
Make sure you keep your pH pen in check also.
Yeah, calibrate that shit.
Like
Make sure you got a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Like you say, and I don't usually run it that way. I usually keep mine right at like that 5.8. I try to stay right at 5.8.
Okay.
But like, do you think that people, the reason that they say, run at the 5.8 lower during veg, and once you hit flower, up it a little bit, is that because of what nutrients get taken up better in that pH?
Yeah, I think
Like-
during flower, when it goes to 6.2, it can absorb the pH, the PK better.
Right,
at that
a lot
pH,
better than when it's at 5.8.
Yeah, and you keep it at the 5.8 because it can absorb nitrogen better at that stage. It's something like that. There's charts out there that show you specifically what pH to keep it as, where specific nutrients get locked out. It's called a pH lockout or something, nutrient lockout, where it
Right,
can't get
nutrient lockout,
the
yeah.
specific nutrients because the pH is off. So it's there in the water. It's all mixed up, and the plants should be getting it, but because the pH is off, it's just not absorbing it. So
Right.
yeah. So it is very important. You need a good pH meter. You need to keep track of what the pH is, and don't let it get too high or too low. And like I say, this is why you want to water it every day as well, because as it dries out, the pH is going to change because the salt concentration changes, and it's if it gets too high, the nutrients are not going to be absorbed properly. So yeah, keep that in mind. Then there's nutrients. And this is just, you can just use hydroponic nutrients for growing in cocoa. Well, what did you use, Margaret? Can you remember what you used when you grew in the Rockwell?
The Rockwell, maybe Dutch
Dutch Pro.
something. Probably. I don't know. It came in big jugs.
Right. Yeah, it's a common
was a
one.
while ago.
Dutch Pro is a common one. It's been around for a while. I
Yeah.
myself, I've used
And then more recently, I have stuff right now because when I tried the cocoa, that was like maybe a year and a half ago, give or take.
Right.
I think. And I bought nutrients that were recommended. And do you think I can remember the name of them right now? I can picture the bottle, but
What did the bottle look like?
Well, these were not like jugs, like huge bottles. These are like more a liter size,
Hmm.
probably.
Yep.
You know, some had vegetable stuff on it, some of them had flowers.
Yeah, yeah.
Was
Were
it
they
General
clear? Was it
something?
like clear,
General
like colored
hydroponics.
clear?
I
Yeah,
think it might
general
have been
hydroponics.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's another type you can use. There's so many out there. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with advanced nutrients, right? There's you got Sensi Grow and Sensi Bloom, which is good for growing in all hydroponic mediums. But there's something apparently, allegedly, with growing in cocoa where it doesn't absorb iron the same. So there's a specific version of that you can get just for growing in cocoa. And the only difference is between the Sensi Grow and the
Oh, yeah.
Sensi Bloom with the cocoa version compared to the normal version is the amount of iron it has, or the type of iron it has in it that can be absorbed easier by the plant when it's grown in cocoa. So you do see these cocoa specific versions of some nutrients, but that's generally what the change is. You can still use normal hydroponic nutrients for plants grown in cocoa, so don't get too concerned. You know, get what you can. Personally, right now I use Canna nutrients. Canna A and B between PK 13, 14. Nice and easy. I don't go crazy with any of the nutrients that I use, but that's an option you can use as well. And what are you using, John? What's your nutrients from the
I
cocoa?
used to use general hydroponics, and I
Okay,
used my my favorite one of theirs is the Flora Nova series.
right.
So
I
it's
think that's what
kind
I
of
have.
it's like dark, like
Yeah.
it's mud. Yeah. And
The
I
veg
I
one,
did
maybe.
really well. Both of mine were.
Oh, okay.
So there's a veg and a bloom for that, and they're both just thick. You know, like you legit have to shake them up every time you're gonna
Right.
use them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but now I use Mega Crop, which um is powdered,
Okay,
and it's a two-part, so it's part A, part B.
cool.
Yeah.
What do you use, Billy?
Living soul, mate.
There we go. There we go. Nice, Billy.
No, but I
Pork
used
man.
Dutch Pro when it was when I was helping someone to do it.
Right. Yeah, there's so
Quite
many,
simple.
good ones out there. But go for something that's like cannabis specific, because you see this BioBiz. Now BioBiz is cool, right? What am I thinking of? Miracle Grow. Don't use that shit, man. Use
Yeah,
shit
that's
that
stuff for your house plant.
yeah, that's right. That's for your house plant, man. That's not for your cannabis. So if
You
you
want
have
the
any
same yield
questions,
as your house plants.
I think it's got loads of nitrogen, is it in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't have the extras that you
But
need.
yeah, if you want to know
You
specifically what you should be using, best thing to do is head over to percysgrowroom.com, check out the hydroponic diaries over there, and see what nutrients other growers are using when they're growing their plants. And then you know you can use that brand
hmm
specifically for your growing your specific medium. Yeah, there's lots of
And
different
if you check
choices.
it out over there, you can ask questions to that person that's already using it, if you have anything come up.
Yeah, man. So it's pretty easy to do all this growing shit. Once you start off slow, few simple instructions, follow the instructions, and you'll be able to grow easily in any of these hydroponic mediums. Might come across a few issues. CalMag deficiency is quite popular, especially in cocoa, because as I said at the start there, when you're buffering the cocoa itself is going to absorb some of that calcium from the feed. So after a while, the calcium is going to be washed out of it as well. So it's going to start absorbing it from the nutrients as well. So CalMag deficiency can be quite common when you're growing in cocoa. So bear that in mind and have extra CalMag ready, because plants love it anyway. Plants love CalMag. There's the pH fluctuations, which can happen, but that's when shit goes dry and it's not supposed to go dry. If you keep it watered, keep it wet, then you shouldn't see too many major pH fluctuations. And if it does fluctuate, which it will a little bit, but it won't be enough for the plants to really care, because you water it a couple of times a day. When every time you do that, it's going to reset the pH in the medium back to what it's supposed to be anyway. So as long as you're keeping up a good watering cycle, you won't see too many crazy pH fluctuations, and it'll be all right. But salt buildup can happen as well. This is when the plant is getting, like I said, 1.0 feed. You're giving it the 1.0 feed, but it's only using 0.8 of it, right? So every time it's leaving behind this extra 0.2. It's not using that shit up. So that's going to build up in the medium over time if it's not washed out properly. But if you keep a good runoff. Like if you're getting 10 to 20% runoff from each feed, then and it's washing out all those old salts, then you shouldn't see too much of a problem with salt buildup.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're getting rid of that runoff. Wash it out and get rid of it. And if you've not got runoff, you've done it wrong. You need to get runoff with every feed in cocoa and in hydroponic mediums as well. And it just keeps the plant happy. When the nutrients first go into the medium, they got this positive charge, and the roots have negative charge. So the positive is attracted to negative, and so the roots are pulling in all this fresh food. But as it gets used up, that positive charge gets degraded and starts to become more and more negative. It's not so powerful. So when you wash more nutrients into it, the weaker charged ones, the weaker positive ones are getting washed off the roots, and new shit's going to be put on there from the fresh feed. So it constantly keeping that shit rolling with new newts going into it all the time. It just keeps the plant happy and healthy, keeps the food fresh, keeps the pH balanced. And this is why you want to keep that shit going round and round. Don't let it dry out. Keep the feed fresh. But yeah. And then overwatering, I mean, it's rare to see in cocoa, really, the whole overwatering issue. If you're getting an overwatering issue, it's because you're not getting rid of your runoff, and the plant's sitting in the dish with the runoff and shit. But it's very rare to see that. If you're doing it properly, if you're giving it a good feed with a 20% runoff, and you're monitoring the pH and shit, getting rid of the runoff, don't let it just sit in the runoff, and man, you'll be fine. Such an easy way to grow. Such an easy way to grow. Just paint by numbers, isn't it? Yeah.
Basically.
So then reusing it. Do you reuse your cocoa there, John?
No, I never did. Because I didn't want to have to go through the process.
Yeah.
Of reflushing it, and sterilizing it, and
pain in the ass.
I would dump it outside on the compost. You know what I mean?
I've reused it before
and
never seen any issues. But it was only for like one grow. I don't even know why I reused it. Probably because I couldn't be asked to get new cocoa or something. Because cocoa's not expensive. You can just go get new shit. So just get new shit. Don't really reuse it unless you have to. Because it's easy when you live in a city and you don't live far away from numerous grow shops. So you can get this shit nice and easy. Then it's easy to say just get new stuff. But somebody could be listening to this. You're living in Hawaii, and you're gonna have them shipped in. I mean, so it's gonna be expensive. So maybe reusing your cocoa is gonna be a good option for you, and it's completely okay to reuse the cocoa. It's reusable. I wouldn't use it any more than 3 times, maybe, because it's gonna start decomposing on itself eventually. But essentially, use it again 2-3 times, man. Yeah. And even after that, you can mix it with soil. If you build your own soil, you can use the reused cocoa after that. There's so many different ways to use this. You figure out what's best for you. But if you're a new grower and you want to get something that's really fucking easy and just easy to maintain and easy to monitor and easy to fix mistakes if you have them, a very forgiving medium, Coco Coir is the way, man. I've grown in many different mediums, lots of different ways, and for me personally, I think that the best and the easiest way for any new grower to get started is to get started in Coco Coir, because it's just so easy to fix any problems you have, so easy to keep track of everything. I mean, there's so many good reasons. It's just my opinion, of course. You have to figure out which medium is best for you. Like as Billy would say, live in soil. That's perfect for him. So he rolls with that.
The one thing I like about it is I can give it what it needs when it needs it. Instead of like in living soil, I have to pre-plan for that to happen.
Yeah.
And then do
like
something
a couple
about
of weeks
it
ahead
of time. Yeah.
That's right. It's like in cocoa, you see flowers forming now. Oh, look, there's the little pom-poms. Let's put some PK in today.
Yeah.
The plants are looking dark green and they're chlorine. Oh, this is nitrogen excess. Let's calm down on the nitrogen a little bit there. So easy.
Agreed.
Yeah, so give it a shot, everybody. Give it a shot. And yes, reuse it if you want to. So it gets even cheaper then if you reuse it for a few grows. Very cheap medium. Loads of different kinds of nutrients you can use for it. Loads of different brands. It's all the same kind. You're using the NPK. Excuse me, my dog's. Can you hear my dog dreaming here?
I heard a little something, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bro, live, bro.
This is the best show
Gosh.
ever today.
Gosh. He just wanted to
Thank
be
you.
Dogs,
involved.
shut
Kieran.
up.
Bye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just got to be careful when the dog's around. You can't say that W word. You know, it's like
Yeah.
when we say we're going for the W word now, I say to the wife, I'm like, let's go for a sniff tour, because they haven't learned that yet. So we call it a sniff tour, because going out somewhere so they can sniff loads of things and tour the field. You know, so they go for their sniff tour now. You can't say anything even like him. Even saying fork is a
It gets quiet
it's just a bit
into the mic.
because I have to say fork. You know, anything that rhymes with it, anything that starts with W or rhymes with that W word, have to be really fucking careful. So
Get your norks out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gosh.
It's like,
anyway,
shit.
random
Dog
tangent.
heard me.
Apologies there, everybody. But yeah, that's it for Coco. If you have any questions, as you can tell, I know quite a bit about growing in cocoa, because this is my medium. You know, this is my shit. I love growing in cocoa. I've done loads of research on it over the time, and I've got lots of hands-on experience. So if you have any questions about growing in cocoa, this is what you can come and ask me about. Growing in living soil and shit. Not just, I mean, I know some stuff, but there's going to be lots of people who know much more about living soil than I do. But when it comes to cocoa, I mean, sure, there's lots of people who know loads more about growing cocoa than I do instead. But I'm comfortable with the shit I know about the shit in cocoa, you know? You know what I mean? So if you have questions, do feel free to reach out. And I can be like, yes, Billy, another cocoa grower. Fuck you. That's what I'll be like.
Living soil.
he leaned into the mic for that, didn't he? You could tell.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that,
Yeah, I did.
I think it's time for the listener mail. Are we ready for listener mail? Does anybody have anything to add or any questions here about cocoa?
I don't think so. I think covered it
No,
pretty
I
good
don't
there.
think so. I think I would just comment that even though I tried it once and it didn't work out very well, I would be interested in trying it again, because the last time, just my whole general setup was not like that was part of the
On
problem.
par.
So it wasn't necessarily just the cocoa and my ineptitude. It was a whole bunch of factors. So
Yeah, man. Well, give it a shot again, and give me a shout, and I can talk you through it, and you'll be fine.
yeah.
It's very nice and easy. Okay, then let's do some listener mail. We have from Green Grocer here, and thanks for sending in the question, Green Grocer. Just growing questions today. Can you believe it? What? What? Somebody drop us a question there in chat that isn't grow related. There's some philosophy shit, some AI shit, just so we have a little something. Gosh, as if there hasn't been enough tangents already. But yeah, Green Grocer, he said, what are common signs, traits, alarm bells, etc. that experienced growers look for when growing from seed that tells the grower, now she's for the chop and start again in autos and photos? And is there a point where she's good and you don't need to worry about it anymore unless she harms? So he's specifically talking about seedlings here, I think. I don't know. What would you say about this, Billy? You've been quiet because it's been Coco. So do you want to go first on this one?
Say the question again, mate.
What are the common signs, traits, alarm bells, etc. for experienced growers look for when growing from seed that tells the grower that now she's for the shop and starts again?
I couldn't really say, to be honest. I mostly just grow everything out because you can't tell until it's really grown out. To be honest, because I've seen some right little things like that. Looks like a bit of a scrag. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? And then you grow it out and oh, that turned out quite nice actually. So it's like, when do you rip it out? It's like, well, it might be an ugly duckling. It's like, so yeah, I don't think any plant, unless it's dead, it's not. It's perfect to me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So no, there ain't none.
Yeah, that's I would agree with that. Really, I mean, you just
argue with that.
pop it and grow it. I mean, if you're breeding or something, different story. You want to be looking for something that has nice health and vigor all the way through it. But that it just completely depends what you're doing it for. But if you're growing for your own personal use, just to grow your own cannabis, pop those seeds, man. And if it's good, just keep it growing.
What happened?
I mean, just think of some of the strains we wouldn't have if everybody did that. That one doesn't look good. Throw it.
Right.
Yeah, cheese wouldn't exist, really, would it? And things like that. People
any of
wouldn't
the
bother.
like
Yeah.
duckfoot stuff or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yeah.
Frankenstein or any of those. None of those would be around, you know.
Yeah, man.
And you might find that ugly duckling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope that helps there, Green Grow. So I mean, if you only planning to grow 4 plants and you pop 10 seeds to see which ones are the best, just monitor them and make sure all the leaves are growing nice. There's no immediate deformation and things.
I was gonna say you can tell by comparison how that because you'd have some conformity between 4 or 5 of them that just look strong and healthy, and then you'd see the ones which are not as good as them 4. If you know what I mean. So like it's conformity, isn't it? Really, when you're growing lots of plants, so grow them all, man.
Grow them all. That's right. Yeah. Unless if you haven't got room for it, you run out of room and you need to make way for some new
Then
plants.
micro grow it.
And yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
micro grow
go.
it.
There you go. And I don't know if there's much difference between autos and photos, really.
No,
when
in
it
the early
comes to this
days, no.
question.
You just let it do its fucking thing.
Yeah.
Just look after it as much as you can. Give it exactly what it wants, which can be done easier in
Mhm.
Coco. It's instantly has more shit available to it. You can just keep ramming it full of nutrients and water.
Yeah.
And it just works so well, man. So yeah, not really anything that you'd look out for. When as you mentioned there, you want to look out for Hermes, and that's all the way through the flowering process. It could happen at any time, so always keep an
with
eye out
any
for fucking Hermes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it really. Just grow, man. Just grow. Just do it. See how it goes. Yeah, and if you do need to get rid, just go plant it outside somewhere. It'll be fine.
Just
Right.
grow it.
Let her buck.
Then we have, we'll go back to the grow question here from Adam Bunkers. Filmy Bowls asked in the chat there. He asked one of the philosophical questions that we like. He says, question, why are the grey aliens the only ones that probe you? Billy, this is a question for you. The greys, the greys, Margaret, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Sounds pretty racist to
Actually,
me.
yeah.
That's right, yeah. What about the
Maybe
green
that's
ones?
the way it is. Yeah,
The
yeah.
green ones like to
How do
probe
you-
too.
Actually, no, the lizard aliens are not probing too, but they're just dressed up as grey ones in disguise.
Ah.
There
Or
you
maybe
go.
they just got
Cosplaying.
better memory deleting software.
Yeah, there you go. They got better wipers.
Mhm.
Maybe they have a wiping system with the boofing system.
I saw a random theory the other day. Listen to this for a fucking random theory. Everybody brace yourselves. When you walk into a room and you're like, oh, I've forgotten why I walked in there. That doesn't happen to me often. But when it does happen, because it does happen to people, you know what really happened? It was an
What?
alien.
Aliens
Got
wiped
you,
your
wiped
memory.
your
Alien
brain.
wiped your memory, sent the time back 5 seconds so it could get away, and then repeats. So that's essentially what it is. It's not an early sign of dementia or anything like that. It was in fact aliens, everybody. So relax, relax.
Yeah.
That should make you feel better.
That's right. Do more Sudokus, and you're less
Right.
likely to see dementia. Apparently.
Holy.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. Interesting question. I mean, how many times have you been probed then, Phil? Because you seem to be quite an expert in it.
Yeah.
The grey guys do it. Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like, how come
And
I'm not
was
getting
it
none of
by
those purple
aliens?
guys coming probing me?
That's right. Was it by aliens or was it just a group of guys on a fun stag night, dressed up as aliens? And like, let's go fuck with that guy over there.
He looks a bit out of his head.
Jesus. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question there, Phil.
that went a bit sideways.
It might just be the greys, but be cautious of all aliens. Because they're experimental and they usually have long fingers that glow on the end.
Mm-hmm.
Look at E.T.
You're
So they can
all
see it when they're
your
inside.
stereotypes right now.
Whoa.
Anyway, so yeah, back to the grow questions here from Adam Bond. We have the last question here. When does John, and John, this is for you. When does John start his plans for his outdoor Minnesota grows?
Listen, I'm going to start off by saying I apologize for putting my comment into the listener mail. I got harped on about that.
Oh my God. When did you do Unbelievable. My gosh.
I know.
Listener mail is
didn't
just
wanna
for
lose-
questions.
I
I
didn't
didn't
Gosh.
want to lose the train of thought, man. So
Oh, right.
Anyway.
Just taking notes instead of putting them in the show
Yeah,
notes.
yeah.
It's no excuse, John.
Yep.
It's no excuse.
Yep, I'm sorry. I broke the rules. I'm docked 10 points now. Savon's whipped me in the back room. Like, I'm sorry.
Calm down, Billy.
Oh, how'd you get that?
Did you have to pay the subscription fee?
Yeah.
yes.
Do I have to up my share or something? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
that's the upper
sir.
tier.
Anyway.
So, back to it. So, this last year was the first time I ever grew outdoors, allegedly. And so we ended up planting them outside like the first week of June. And usually, I plant all my stuff, like if I'm growing a garden or whatever, outside, like after Memorial Day or around then or whatever, so, and I did photos and autos. Everything I had started indoors first to give them a good go, because I didn't want to just put them outside and start them out there. So yeah, the first week of June pretty much is when I did it, and that worked really good for the photos. The autos, though, we had hella problems because it was so hot and so humid. So I think this next year I'm gonna do autos later. I'll plant them probably like a month later. So I hope that helps. You can go
Sweet.
check my little comment in the post there, and it has more stuff going on. But really, the first week of June, I mean, that gives you a long time. We had huge plants,
Nice.
7-foot tall plants.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, they were huge. They
Man,
look like Christmas trees. Just wrap your arms around them.
growing legally
know what I mean?
outdoors as well, so you don't have to be worrying about shit. Must be so
Yeah.
nice.
And we grew in a greenhouse too, which I'm a toss up on that one. I don't know whether or not that was good or bad, honestly.
Mhm.
The one thing I would say, the reason I think it was a little bad is because you really got to be on top of ventilation in a
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
humidity is a
You
big
know.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and we had problems with that, but mainly the autos is what had the problem. Now, I don't know exactly what he was getting to or what he was wanting to know, but another thing we're going to do this next year is we're going to pick strains that flower sooner
Mhm.
or finish sooner, I should say, because we had a couple that went way late, like almost to November, and those ones were struggling a little bit.
Yeah. And when it gets cold like that as well, mold can set in so much easier.
Yeah,
Want it done
Yeah,
as soon as
yeah.
possible, innit?
and we did get some powdery mildew
Hmm.
on that later stuff, so
Fuck.
yeah, we're gonna change it up again this year and try to fix all those things. But
Nice. Well, good luck to anybody who wants to go and plant some plants outdoors this year. Good luck. Yeah, but that's about it. That's all the listener mail questions, and that's the guide to Coco. Is there anything else to add? Anything to add here?
I've got a quick question about movies, about something you said earlier. So,
Okay.
do you prefer movies where everyone dies at the beginning of the movie or at the end?
I like a lot of people at the start, a lot of people at the end, few in the middle.
It's like
The
surprising.
complete annihilation.
Yeah, preferably. I just like apocalyptic movies. I'm sure we all do.
Yeah, same.
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
how allegedly women like to listen to murder documentaries. My
I
wife
do not
does.
listen to any crime podcasts at
That's
all.
crazy. My missus, she
Just to
loves
counter
that
that
shit.
little
That's
stat.
because she's an alien. She's not really a woman. We established
That's right,
that.
Margaret. We're on to
Yeah,
you.
there you go. More
We're on
proof.
to you. You're
more
not doing
proof
yourself
there,
any
you see.
I've
favors
been
here.
found out
You know.
by my podcast listening habits. God damn it.
Of anything that could have uncovered the truth.
Who
Gosh.
knew it would be that? Oh.
I mean, to your question there, Billy, does it depend on the way of the directing of the film? Because you might start out where everybody dies in the beginning, but that's just like a future projection of what's going to happen in the movie, and then 10 minutes
right.
in, everybody's alive
Yes.
and going on.
Plot twist.
Like seeing the Titanic scene at
Yeah.
the start rather than at the end. Spoiler alert, everybody! If you haven't seen Titanic, it
haven't
stinks at the
seen
end.
one of the world's
know.
largest grossing movies.
Right.
And
And
even
Rose
if you
coulda
haven't
made
seen the
room on that
movie,
goddamn door.
you know, you don't know what happened to the ship. You know. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy those kind of apocalyptic movies if they're well done. No.
Yeah, they got to be good though.
And especially the virus ones like that. I don't know, man. I see that's
12
one of the
Monkeys.
most
12
likely
Monkeys is a good
ways.
one.
Yeah. It's just one of the most likely ways that humanity is going to get wiped out. I think is by a virus.
It's so like,
What
what's your
we
guys'
created
take on the
ourselves.
Walking Dead shows?
It was good for the first season or two, and then it just
See, I'm gonna
dragged on for
agree
too
with you
long.
on that. I had to stop watching. I couldn't do it
Yeah,
because
it
it
got a
got
little much
too
after a
much.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't
they
like
tried to make it go on for
shows
too
that
long.
do that. Yeah.
It just started to make no sense. And I know that's crazy to say because they're fucking talking about zombies, but it made no sense because, right, the bodies decompose, and along with the decomposition would be the decomposition of the brain, right? And the way you kill the zombies, you just stab them in the head to interrupt the brain stem and shit. And then the zombie's dead. Just
Makes no
headshot.
sense.
Makes no sense at all at that point. It's like the brain's already decomposed. How come, what are you trying to say here? Fuck.
Although I heard there was a new season of that. Did I hear this correctly? That Last of Us show.
Yeah, that's supposed to be good because I haven't seen that because they want me
Oh,
to
that
pay
one
for
was
it
really
extra
good.
everywhere. Oh, you want to watch it on Prime? 15 quid a season. He's like, fuck off.
Is
I already
it?
pay for Prime. Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Hey.
I'm not paying more. God damn, but that's
No, I hate
interesting
that
because
stuff.
it's based on the forceps. Is that what it's called? The virus?
I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
some kind of virus that it takes over ants and make ants do crazy things and shit.
yeah, it's like
So,
the same kind of fungus. It's like
Mm.
it's like some kind of fungal virus that
Yeah, that's
takes
my
over.
kind of
It's
shit.
pretty
I like
interesting.
that.
It was really good.
Yeah, I would like that TV show. I'm just not paying Amazon extra. I'll wait until
No,
I
you
can
just
find
gotta
it
wait
for
long
free.
enough, and you'll find it on a different streaming
Yeah.
platform. or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, too right.
Yeah, you just have to be patient.
Yeah. But there you go, everybody. What kind of TV shows are you into? Let us know in the comments and shit. That's what we want to hear about. Recommend some TV shows for us that are free on Amazon
Alright.
or
I
Netflix.
blame Highlander
cool.
for UK knife crime.
Well, I think he's got some. He might have a thing there though. He might have a thing there. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Brilliant. No, that's going to get banned. Cheers, ICE.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Way to go.
Let's go to the outro before we get more movies cancelled in the UK. Let's go.
Mhm.
Outro tune playing. Outro tune fading professionally. There we go. Yes, good show, everybody. Good show. And of course, if you have questions and all that, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm going to say next. Yeah, there you go. Hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But what were we saying about movies again? I heard this.
What are we saying about movies again?
I heard this one called From. Anybody seen that? From?
What from?
About some village.
From?
I've been recommended that. From, it's
No.
called.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
apparently
I've
it's
never
good.
seen it.
From.
I don't know.
That's the one,
It's
Billy. That's the one.
From.
That's the one.
I don't know.
But yeah, check out that Stand one, everybody. You know, it's free on YouTube. I've watched it on YouTube, 4K upscaled and shit. It's like, damn, technology's crazy now.
Stephen King's Stand.
Stephen
Or
King
The
was in it as
Stand.
well, you know. I've seen him a few times playing a character.
Yeah.
Stephen King was in the actual TV show. He can't act for shit, you know.
Apparently, he's a great writer. Can't act.
Yeah, apparently.
He's written a few books.
He used to be a
Listen.
great writer.
Until he stopped the cocaine, and then he went shit. Apparently,
Yeah.
allegedly. Do you ever see that movie Misery?
Mm-hmm.
You ever see
Yeah.
that one? That was a
Yeah.
good one back in
That's
the
a
day.
bit sad, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Christine, that was a fucking gorgeous
That's
car,
a
wasn't
good
it?
old one.
I
Yeah.
would have still had that car, even if it killed everybody. Would you just got back? Would have been like, bad car, bad car. And it would have been like, how could I stay mad at you?
Mhm.
He's talking about all old movies and stuff where we were saying the acting was shit.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
I love B movies because of that.
Yeah, they're like when movies are so bad, you watch them because they're bad. Have you seen The Terrifier?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like zombie beavers.
Oh no.
Like that's great.
Zombie
There's
Beaver.
so many of them out there.
Sounds
Yeah,
a bit
zombie
filth,
beavers.
that does.
Yeah,
Hey,
John, what are
whoa,
you
whoa.
watching? Fucking hell.
Ain't it?
Sorry, that was Pornhub. I'm sorry. Oh no, Red Tube.
Unshaved zombie beaver.
Jesus, Jesus.
Oh my bad.
Yeah, good shit. Loads of good TV out there, man. Loads of shit stuff as well, though. So I watched Time Enough at Last the other day. Did I tell you about that? Stotty shared a link with me where he's some archive website where you can watch all these old TV shows for free. Because this is the thing, I love the Twilight Zone. You know the old black and white Twilight Zone?
That's
You know,
great
the
stuff.
original. Yeah, fucking amazing TV, man. Great storytelling. You know,
Tales
and-
of the Unexpected.
yeah, it's a good one too. But it just, you can't watch the Twilight Zone anywhere without paying for it. Like, the show's 100 years
Tubi,
old, you
isn't it?
stingy fuckers.
I think it's on Tubi.
I
I'm
don't
sure it's
know.
on YouTube.
Maybe not. I
No,
thought it was on
it's hard to
Tubi,
find full
but I
episodes
don't
on
know.
YouTube. But Stotty shared a site with me, some archive site, but it's got them all on there. So yeah, I managed to watch
Really?
Time Enough at Last the other day, which is just
Okay.
just a great bit of storytelling there.
You have to send me that link then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, just holding on to that. God.
Yeah,
Not
man,
sharing it
I
to
should
anybody.
share. I should share. I'll drop it in the Discord. I'll get it from
Mhm.
It was a bit of a pain in the ass because I had to let it buffer and stuff like that. So
Ah.
it's the way it goes sometimes. But I still managed to watch it for free, and it had been colorized as well. Like AI had colorized it and shit. Very cool, man. It was good. I should watch more of those Twilight Zones. But I'd love to get like a box set. You know, just buy them all and have all the episodes of the Twilight Zone, all the seasons. There's some. What was that?
How many were there, do you think?
Oh, loads, man. Loads. Hundreds. Gotta have been hundreds.
Yeah.
There's just a couple of classic ones. What was that one? The obsolete man. That wasn't the word they used. Was it what obsolete? Man. That was a great episode anyway. Obsolete man
I'd
or
have to
something
kind of
like
see
that.
him again to remember. It's been so long since
And
I've
then
watched
an
them.
occurrence at Owl Creek. Did anybody ever see that?
No.
No.
I don't remember. I won't remember the names, mate. I remember the.
Occurrence at
I remember
Owl.
the when I watch them, I suppose. But
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so many good episodes of the old Twilight Zone. They don't make them like that anymore. That was good
No.
shit, man. Damn. Remember the one where everybody was taking the piss out of the doctor because he built himself a bomb shelter, a nuclear fallout shelter and shit in his basement. Everyone's like, hey, you crazy doctor. And then the fucking bomb went off.
and they all
I
go
mean?
down and use it.
And then they're all just trying to kick off the door, trying to get in. And he was like, no, there's only enough food in here for me and my family. And this is why you don't tell everybody where your bunker is, everybody. Keep your bunker secret.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Keep that secret.
To
along with
serve, man. Good
plan.
episode. Good episode.
Otherwise, you have to shoot your neighbours to keep your family safe.
Should do that anyway. In the case of an apocalypse. Just
Yeah, you don't just randomly
Don't
go
just
out
go
and
out
do
there
that.
and-
No, yeah.
Yeah,
That's not good
God.
advice.
Oh,
know what I mean?
Flag.
God.
Flag.
I know we're in divided times right now, everybody, but don't take it too crazy now. Yes, good.
Wait for the apocalypse.
Good show, everybody. Go and check out some Twilight Zone episodes, man, because that was some classic shit. You know what
It
I'm
was good. It
saying?
was so good.
Damn.
I'd like to watch that shit in black and white too. Like all the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
shows.
same. I
It's
I
like,
like
it
it being
adds
as
something
it is.
different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good. So good. Mm-hmm.
So good, man. Anyway, until next week, then, everybody. I don't know what we're covering next week yet. Did I didn't maybe mention something? I don't know. If you have any suggestions, then let us know. We like to hear from you
Nutrients?
guys. Yeah, I think we already covered nutrients, like episode 4 or something.
Oh.
Maybe EC. Maybe we'll cover that.
Or EC, yeah, that's what
yeah.
you were talking about.
We'll see what happens next week. Until then, everybody, it's been a pleasure as always. If you have questions, suggestions, feedback, and all that kind of stuff, head over to Percy'sGrowRoom.com or just head to the Discord server, which is in the description. Just go down there, click it, and join us. And maybe if you're free, join us for a game of Letter League over on Discord now. Let's go. Stay high, stay safe. And we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Waving.
Well, and-